Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I'm your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you on Grande's Graveyard. And tonight we bring back an old school segment on the show. Yes, from almost exactly a year ago. I believe it was March the 31st of last year where we did the first one of this. And tonight it's time for volume 2. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because tonight it is overrated versus underrated horror. I'm super excited for the show here tonight because we've got 5 underrated gems that I want to put over, 5 overrated pieces of dog turd that I want to bury. And tonight we'll also be adding a very new stipulation to this show where I will be introducing a tweener, a movie that I consider to be both over and underrated. Just one of those, but we got 5 underrated, 5 overrated, 1 tweener, and absolutely 0 regrets tonight on Grande's Graveyard. I'm super excited to have you all in the house. Going to be a very fun show. We've got some people in the house. Miss Carter is here. Ciao, Grande and friends. Waving hello. Welcome, Missy. Grande, love that you're rocking the wrestler look, honestly. I thought you might go for the Dusty Rhodes look, though. Brett, the Hitman Hart, eat your heart out. Hell yeah, the Hitman is the way to go. It was funny. My buddy AJ did that Photoshop for me, and I thought that was really funny. Let's see. Hey, good evening, everyone. Sean Blue Digital's in the house. Sean, welcome, my friend. Good to see your name on here, buddy. Terry is here. Hola, Grande. Thumbs up, everybody. Hello, everyone in the chat. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about Edwin Diaz. John, I'm a Phillies fan, but I'd rather beat the Mets at full strength. Hey, man, things happen, and it could have easily have happened in spring training as well. My thing is, you got to hope for somebody's health, recovery, all that stuff comes first. This is the time where you count your blessings. He got his money. It's not like it's a deal where he had a bad last few years. I mean, he had a great last year and he got his money deferred. So he's still going to be compensated. He'll be back. He'll have a chip on his shoulder. And, you just got to hope for the speedy recovery and a good recovery. So that's really all you can do with that situation. I know a lot of Mets fans have been bitching, but listen, it's part of the game. It happens. It could have happened on opening day. It could have happened in spring training. Things happen, and it's just about how you deal with them from there. That's 10 movies. That is right. There's 10 movies. Actually, 11 because the tweener is number 11. But yes, very true. Slasher Fred, welcome to the graveyard. Hey, guys. Neon Black Reviews in the house. AJ's here. Hey, buddy. He's the one that did that Photoshop for the thumbnail. I switched the thumbnail at the last minute to this new picture. So, AJ, don't hate me. But AJ gets props for that. Mateo is here. Ciao, Grande. The cover of the show cracks me up all the time. Your excellence of execution, Joe. Oh, yeah. Hitman flapping on sharpshooters all the time. No, that was fun. It was funny because when AJ did that for me, I was so much more pale than Bret Hart. I was like, man, you got to make me, I'm too pale. So what he did was, I think he either made me tanner or made Bret paler. I'm not sure which one of the two he did, but either way, that one's all Zetro, buddy. Good brother Thomas here. Hi, all. Welcome the Undead of Night. Good to see you. And yeah, so we're going to get underway with this son of a bitch right off the road. So but before we do, though, a quick cheers to everybody. I don't have anything to hold up. I'm kind of squished in here because I've got the Grande's Graveyard mug. Pete the Pumpkin couldn't make a return on this show because somebody threw Pete the Pumpkin out. I was very upset about that. But the basket of fuck has also made a return. This is where the overrated are. This is where the underrated are. And basically, we'll just go through these. I have plot synopsises for all of them. It's at random. So I have all the tabs up on my computer so I can be up to date. But which one I'll be talking about, therein lies which we're going to pick out. So everybody, cheers. Hope you're all having a wonderful, safe, happy, healthy Thursday night. And we're going to kick off Grande's Graveyard in style. I guess, last time we started overrated just to start the show off hot. So I guess we'll do that right here and now. All right. We're going to dip into the garbage bag of fuck here. And I've got something. Let's see. Oh my God. It's one letter, but one letter of destruction, ladies and gentlemen. It is X. Yes, X. X gonna give it to you. It ain't gonna give it to you because it's a bunch of bullshit. All right, let's read plot synopsis here. I'll get the IMDb tab up. Okay. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast find themselves fighting for their lives. Oh boy. Well, if you caught the show last time, you know how big of a fan of Ty West I am and how positively I spoke on House of the Devil when it came out of this garbage can of fuck. Ty West. So, first and foremost, this movie came out around the beginning of last year, and everybody and their fucking grandma was talking about how fucking good it was and how great and new and all these things. And I saw the trailer, and I immediately thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was like, what the, like I saw the trailer and it looks literally like it's almost a remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, from tracking shots from behind a Mia Goth or a Brittany Snow or a Jenna Ortega, like tracking shots like that, similar kind of color palette. It also kind of looked like it took a little bit from Eaten Alive, because there's a killer crocodile in the movie, which is, of course, Tobe Hooper. That was his follow-up to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw the trailer and I was like, I mean, Ty West, this looks like it's a fucking carbon copy of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let me stay away. And I did for a long time. But good brother Billy Henry, who's, I don't know if he's here live, but he was the one that recommended I give it a watch. He said, Grande, I know you hate Ty West. I know, but I think he's turned a new leaf. I think he's coming on the scene. I think he's going to change your mind. I think this is the movie that's going to change your mind. And overall, I would say it's a better movie than A House of the Devil. I would say it's a better movie than The Innkeepers. It's definitely a better movie than Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever, because hold your fucking horses, is that a piece of shit? However, it's still a fucking overrated movie. Severely overrated. And I really don't have many positives here because, okay, Ty West is what I like to call someone who likes to go back to the bygone era. He loves to go back and make his films look 1970s. You watch The Innkeepers, it has that old school feel. You watch House of the Devil, it's literally like you're almost watching a film that came out in 1975, and it looks like it was made in the 70s. And this is no exception either. I mean, the look of the film, the setting of the film, it's a pretty, 1970s looking feel, vibe, and whatever. And it's basically these bunch of kids, or I guess early 20-somethings, that are making a porno. You've got Brittany Snow in there, who I always liked. You have, she's in the shitty Prom Night remake. And Prom Night, oh boy, I don't know, that might be in the garbage can, but we'll get there. Brittany Snow, you've got Mia Goth, who is taking over the world. And speaking of taking over the world, you have Jenna Ortega, who's possibly the biggest star in the world right now. I mean, she is all over the fucking place, whether it be the Wednesday show, whether it be this, whether it be the Scream movies. She just hosted Saturday Night Live last week. I mean, Jenna Ortega is the flavor of the fucking month, man. That is a big up and coming next big thing type of star. And they got her before she kind of blew up onto the scene in this movie right here. But I have a lot of issues with this movie. I really do. Okay. Aesthetically, it's too fucking similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to the point where I don't feel like this film on its own 2 feet has its own identity. There's no real identity here. Tonally, it's right on the mark. The first 40 minutes or so, when they're actually making the porno, I don't mind the movie. Actually, I was like, I'm fucking might be in for something pretty good here. I might be in good hands. And then around the 45 minute mark, it becomes generic. Basically what happens is the leader, the director, whatever, Martin, whatever the fuck his name is from The Ring, he gets killed by this old lady who is horny and wants some dick because she's seeing a porn being filmed and her husband can't give it to her. Ex gonna give it to you. That fucking guy can't get that motherfucker up with about 4 or 5 fucking blue pills. He can't give her the fucking good dick, so she decides to go batshit fucking crazy and start killing motherfuckers. And there's nothing interesting about this plot or story or anything. And the character named Pearl, they actually did a prequel movie that came out just a few months down the road where I heard that was even better than X. I'll be honest, I've avoided it because of what I thought about X. At first, I'm like, all right, it's okay. I'm wanting to give it the fucking passing rating. But as the more I thought about it, everybody putting it over, everybody talking about how great it is, how good of a throwback it is, how A24 is the best horror company in the world. I just can't accept it. I just don't really get what the big drive is for a movie like this. 1970s movies, you can watch better 1970s movies than this. You can watch movies that are scarier than this, movies that have more psychological themes and more messages to them. There's really not much of a message here. It's just a horny old lady who wants to get some dick and she can't get any. So she decides to go crazy, and you have some really, I think, generic kills. You have the African-American gentleman who's the star of the male star of the porno. He gets let out to the lake by this fucking guy, just gets shot. You have one of them just gets stabbed in the throat in front of a car, and we're going to paint the headlights red. What? It's fucking lame. That's just lame in my opinion. You've got fucking Jenna Ortega gets locked up in the basement. She gives a fucking really over-the-top scream into the camera when she finds a dead body. And she ends up just running out of the fucking thing, getting shot and blown away by a shotgun, all 10 pounds of her, soaking wet with 2 bricks in her fucking pocket. I don't know. I just felt that once the horror kicked in with this movie, it fell to shit. I almost rather would have watched a drama about these people trying to make a porno. I think that would have been better than the slasher exploitation movie that we ended up getting instead. I don't know. I just feel like you set yourself up kind of to fail here because your film doesn't have an identity. Your film really doesn't have that much to say. There's a generic fucking preacher on the television in black and white. And oh, twist at the end, it's Mia Goth's dad. And she's Maxine. And she's fucking snorting coke and killing the villains. Lame. Just lame. There's not one likable character in here. You had something. You really had something. This is why it does frustrate me, because I think you could have went so many more better, different directions than this. And instead, they just decided to go same slasher, different bygone era, different day, and same Texas Chainsaw Massacre / Eaten Alive, Toby Hooper filter. That just didn't work. I just really didn't think it worked. I don't know. I really did not care for X. I feel like that is an overrated movie, but we have a ton of people in the chat, so let me get back to where we were. I think we were here. Coming in hot. Yep, X gonna give it to you. It ain't gonna give it to you because it fucking sucks. Showing Blue Digital. X. Yes, we're CM Punk. X was cool, good, fun, silly fun. See, I like, was it really trying to be fun though? Like, I didn't have fun. Like, I had, okay, some of the fake porn scenes were fun. Like seeing fucking Brittany Snow pretending to get banged and Mia Goth pretending to get banged. Jenna Ortega at 19 years old when she's shooting this movie, she wanted to get banged. Everybody and their fucking mother want to get banged by this one guy. And then when Gertie fucking Grammy Gumjobs Pearl wants to join in, everybody, no, we can't fuck her. And she ends up, her husband tries to fuck her anyway, has a heart attack, dies on her. I don't know. And the makeup, the old woman is also Mia Goth in like this old woman makeup. And I'm like, what? And then the guy playing her husband, just an old man. So she must have made out with that fucking old man, man. That's nasty. Mia Goth is great. I love Mia Goth. The Suspiria remake. She did the new the son of Cronenberg, his film. She's on the scene. She's becoming a big star before our eyes. I don't think she's the problem here. I really don't. I like most of the cast. Like I said, I like Jenna Ortega. I like fucking Brittany Snow. I like most of the cast. I just feel like what a missed opportunity you had here to make a movie that was maybe even non-genre. I would not, if I was in the shoes of Ty West, I wouldn't have made it a horror film. I would have just kept going, make it a drama, talk about sex, just the dramas of sex, whether you're old, whether you're 19 like Jenna Ortega, whether you're in the fucking porn industry. Make a film talking about the dramatic side of sex. I think that would have been far more interesting than a generic slasher that just got blown out of proportion. And why it got blown out of proportion, I don't know. It seems like most of my chat like it. Please tell me why. I'm very well and open to hear why. The plot feels like a version of the Blair Witch Project. Really? Oh, instead of making a documentary, they're making a porn? I mean, I guess so. X was my favorite film of 22, but that's also not saying much. Well, yeah, it's not saying much. A lot of people would agree with you. A lot of people loved X. I definitely am in the minority here. And I'll be honest, the first time I watched it, I didn't hate it. But it was the fucking, it's great. I was like, all right, no, it's not. And then I rewatched it again. I was like, yeah, no, this isn't much. Like Ty almost always gets a good setup and never sticks the landing. That's classic Ty West. Watch the opening of Cabin Fever 2 and that great song with the animation and dancing on the grave. Boom, 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 boom. By the end of that movie, granted, I know the studio interfered, meddled in that particular film, but it becomes like a Saw movie. Like, we got to cut my arm off to stop the event. House of the Devil, Tom Noonan's weird. This is uncomfortable. This feels 1970s, claustrophobic. We're in a house, weird vibes, bullshit, boring, like Rosemary's Baby type ending that just didn't stick the landing. I think Ty West knows how to set up a good game, but he can't fucking take it home. That's just kind of how I feel about the guy. Hi all in the chat. Hey, Mateo. I like how it subverted my expectations. Really? Okay. Interesting. Never understood the hype for X. Me neither. Good brother Brett. Welcome to the graveyard. I don't understand any of the hype for most of the A24 horror films. X was all right to me. I would say maybe it is all right. Like at its best, it's decent. But I really don't think it was anything that special. Like to the point where people are going nuts about it and telling me all this fucking hype and all this. And no, just wasn't worth it. Bad typos. I love extremely overrated. Yeah, I think it was overrated as well. Horror fans simply like their new horror films, and this is the era we live in. That's true, but I would say this. I mean, it's interesting that this would draw to a new school horror fan, right? Because on its surface, it is an A24 film. It's not a franchise movie until the prequel came out. And then now they're talking about making Maxine, which would be the third movie. So you had Pearl, you had X, and then you're going to have Maxine down the road, which it's going to somehow be a trilogy, which is interesting. And it seems like people are all in to see it. I love Mia Goth. I like Mia Goth. I don't really think she had that much to do here. I don't think her character had enough to do here, which I'm hearing that Pearl fixes that. She's the whole fucking show, for lack of a better term, in Pearl. The whole fucking show was in Rob Van Dam. King Gore is here. Corey, welcome, my friend. Buongiorno. Hi, Sean. Hi, King. Let's see. One of the underrated horror movies is The Puppet Master, where you have these claymation puppets who go on a rampage. The original was with the late William Hickey. It's a cult classic. Well, yeah, I don't know. Underrated. Cult classic is, I don't know if I'd say Puppet Master is underrated. That's one that people mostly know. But okay, we got an agreement here. Mernzy's in the house. Triple M. What's up, good brother? I liked Pearl more, and it gives X a great backstory. I think I would probably feel the same way, but I'm hesitant because you're going to like X. You're going to like, I didn't like it, so I've been holding off on Pearl, but one woman show and Mia Goth carrying it, maybe, just maybe I'd like it. And I've heard it has much more of a Herschel Gordon Lewis type feel and aesthetic and look to it. And I'm like, okay, again, you're not having your own identity, but that's such a bygone era. It's even beyond bygone with the 1970s. I mean, you're going to the early 1960s and the first type of days of gore films with a movie like Pearl. So I definitely will check it out at some point. Only gripe with X, could have had a higher body count. I dug it, just didn't go hard enough in my opinion. That edge would have added more purpose. So you think it should have been more hardcore? I agree. The kills were quite generic. I mean, I didn't see anything special here, or innovative, or creative, or shocking. Nothing really. The Jenna Ortega kill was just bullshit. We got to be calm. I'm not going to be calm. I'm going to run out like an idiot and get shot and blown in half. Which I know the Jenna Ortega haters would probably love to see, but I don't know. I was entertained by X, but it was okay. Not offended by it or in great praise of it. Still looking forward to Maxine, Triple X Maxine. Yeah, higher and maybe a bloodied kill count would have helped. Maybe. I've not seen it. Is it rated R? It's rated X. Yeah, it is rated R. Old people say, yeah, it's nasty. Like, I don't think they focus on that enough, though. Like, there's not enough of that. Like, make them the leads, and then the fucking people that are shooting the porn, they're on the side. Like to me, they flipped it. The people shooting the porn are the leads, and then it's like, this is just okay. We need these kids to get killed off now. Plot device. This old bitch is horny. I don't know. Just lame. Lame. That's the word for it. I don't know what people are expecting in this era of rehashed movies and unoriginality. That's true. I don't know. Like, I can't say that I've seen a movie exactly like that where people making a porno and then they run into an old horny lady that kills them off. I can't say I've seen that, but I would say that the look of this movie is what's unoriginal about it. It looks like he's just trying to remake Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like when you're making a film, you want it to look like something of its own, not of something that used to be. It's just too much of the old school here to me. I don't know. I just didn't care for how it looked. You could always just keep rewatching classics if you don't like the new ones. That's true as well. Unpopular opinion, X was wild. That movie had some great themes. The Fading of Youth, I really enjoyed it. Pearl was so good too. Huge Oscar snub for Best Actress. Yeah, I'm hearing she's great in it. I don't think you're that unpopular of opinion. For me, I think I'm more unpopular of opinion. Most people seem to like X. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Yeah, and if they learned even more into the porn world, would have been cooler, aesthetic-wise, was nice. More sleaze is welcome. Sure, definitely more sleaze would have been welcome. For me, at least. I expected from the trailer that the old folk would be Prutons. Sure, yeah, no, that could have happened. Definitely could have happened. Ryan Larkin's in the house waving. Hello, my good buddy. Connor Nelson's in the house. Overrated Conjuring franchise, Hereditary, Midsummer. Hereditary was mentioned the last time when we did Overrated because I hate that movie. Never thought I'd see Snow's boobs. Well, no, I didn't either. Overrated Scream 2022, Scream 6, underrated Scream 4. Well, I actually agree with all of that, and I haven't seen Scream 6, but that is what it is. That is X. In my opinion, X ain't going to give it to you. It's just a fact of life, ladies and gents. But back, now it's time to be positive. This is a bipolar show. For people that are here first time for the overrated versus underrated, now it's time to be positive. So it's a very bipolar show, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to dip into the underrated jar here. And what do we got? Interesting one here from the year 2009, 2010-ish. I'll check on the IMDb tab. This is After.Life. Yes, Afterlife. Let's click on the thing here, get a brief plot synopsis. Afterlife from 2009. After a car accident, a young woman caught between life and death meets a funeral director who claims to have the gift of transitioning the dead into the afterlife. Yes, Afterlife. Now, this was one of those movies where it came out, and I'm not sure why this didn't get a bigger theatrical release and run than it did. Because the cast is, in my opinion, an A cast. You have Justin Long, you have Christina Ricci in the lead, you have Liam Neeson playing the lead type of heel, or is he? It's kind of one of those is he or isn't he type of movies. And it basically tells the story. Christina Ricci and Justin Long, they're in a very, very unhappy relationship. He wants her to move away with him. He has a new job opportunity out of town. She storms out of there and thinks that he's trying to break up with her when he's really just asking her to move somewhere else with him. It's a rainy night. She gets into a horrible car accident. She wakes up and she's in a morgue. And Liam Neeson is the guy that runs the morgue. And Liam Neeson says, "You've died in a car accident. I'm so sorry." And she says, "How the hell have I died? I'm awake. My eyes are open. I'm blinking. I'm talking to you. What are you talking about? How am I dead?" And the entire movie is basically a big question to the viewer. Is Liam Neeson lying, or is he telling the truth? Is she really dead? Is this really the afterlife? Or is she really alive and Liam Neeson is just absolutely fucking batshit crazy? And this movie kind of plays out from there. I think this is a great movie. It's directed by, I cannot pronounce this name. She is a Polish filmmaker. This is the only movie she ever did. And I think she did a wonderful job in the direction here. I really like the look of this movie. And I like its themes of talking about life versus death, right? And to me, Liam Neeson's performance is one of the best of his career. And the saddest part about that is Liam Neeson's wife had passed away just months before they started filming this. Of course, people don't remember his wife. I think she got into a skiing accident, I believe it was, hit her head, unfortunately passed away. And they initially had Alfred Molina. Yes, Doc Ock himself was going to play the mortician guy. He backs out last minute, and Liam Neeson, off the heels of burying his own wife, comes in and plays this really morbid mortician role where he's trying to kind of school Christina Ricci's character on what it is to be dead and what it was to be alive, and was she really happy in her life, and could you call what the last few years of her miserable life was really truly living, or was she already dead before she even got into that car accident? It's a very interesting movie that's talking about life versus death and right versus wrong, and is he telling the truth or is he lying? A lot of different unique concepts and themes here, and I thought it was a really, really well done movie. Like, really well done. It's not particularly a scary film, although the director tries to integrate these kind of dream sequences of Christina Ricci talking to ghosts and the dead, and she's dreaming these sequences and things like that. And there's some very intense scenes where Liam Neeson challenges her. She goes, "I'm not dead. You're going to let me go." And she has these scissors, and she's like, "I'll fucking stab you right in the jugular. You let me go." And unfazed, he's like, "Go ahead. Do it. Stab me in the throat. See it. See if I'm really lying. Stab me in the throat, see if you can get out of here. Let's see what happens." And he's kind of taunting her, like, "Go ahead, bitch. Like, go ahead. If you really truly believe you're alive, you know." I see this comment before. Ricci Yitz? No. Actually, Christina Ricci is naked almost this entire fucking movie. So anyone who wants to see naked Christina Ricci, she is naked for over half of this film, like, without a doubt. But the thing is, she's also kind of looks like a corpse because she has no fucking skin pigmentation. So she's not looking at her fucking vest, obviously, but still it's Christina Ricci, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, no, Christina Ricci, a big positive in this movie. She is butt naked from fucking pretty much the word go. I mean, and she's looking very good. I don't know. I really like this plot, and I think Justin Long does a great job adding a little bit of heart to the film, as he's the boyfriend who does not believe that she's really dead. He's kind of questioning Liam Neeson's morals and themes, and he's kind of going to the morgue and being like, "I know she's alive. I just feel she's alive," and she's trying to contact him at times and stuff like that. It's a very interesting film. I mean, I just think overall it's a really, really interesting little movie. It's one that I don't really know if I want to spoil or not. And it's one that you could argue is left up to interpretation. I think most people would probably draw one conclusion, but I thought overall it was a really solid film. Like, I really always liked this from the first time I saw it, and it really gets no mention, no buzz. I don't ever really understand why this wasn't released big theatrically. I don't know. I definitely think you could have released this theatrically and would have sold. I mean, you have Liam Neeson, who blew up in 2009, 2008-ish with Taken. And, he made Unknown, and he made so many movies. I mean, he blew up onto the scene right around that time. He just became a big deal. Christina Ricci always is a draw. Justin Long, I always think, is doing well in horror films. It would be Jeepers Creepers or this. I think Justin Long is a fantastic actor. I don't know. I definitely think this movie is sort of underrated. I definitely want people to check it out. It was one I don't want to go all the way with reviewing or spoiling. This is one I hope people seek out. With most of the underrated ones, that's kind of what I'm hoping people will do. Let's see. I'm going to Scream. If I keep hearing about Scream, most washed up franchise ever. Well, I'm definitely not seeing part 6. Agreed with you, Connor. Scream 5 sucks dick. It does suck dick. Scream 4 is my favorite sequel in that series. Well, yeah, Scream 5 is a piece of shit. Never heard of it. Highly recommend. I believe it's on Amazon Prime for free if you want to stream it. One of the underrated horror movies I have seen is turning 35 this year. 976 Evil. It has stars Stephen Jeffries from the original Fright Night. And I believe that's also directed by Robert Englund, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty cool. Aiden Vabra's in the house. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Mr. Vabra. I remember 976 Evil came on TV a lot in the 90s. Yeah, it's a fun movie. Reachy Yits. Plenty of Reachy Yits. Off topic, watching Jurassic Park Dominion, bad. Well, I wouldn't even try it. When I heard that Dawson was the villain, I said, no, I'm not watching it. That was it. 3 years later, Leslie, who appeared with Robert Englund in the Freddy's Dead. Yes, that's right. Leslie, what's her damn name? I can't think of her name. Oh, sorry to hear that. Available on Amazon Prime if you want to give it a look, because I think it's a really good, kind of morbid movie. Which movie? This is After Life, which is what we're talking about. Underrated, Dead Girl, cool. After Life is truly a good horror film, and it's a nice looking film, and from its use of colors and atmosphere. Yes, they use a lot of interesting color, like primary red colors, like roses and flower colors that you would bring to somebody's funeral or somebody's wake. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's a really good one. I really never understood why there wasn't more hype around it. Afterlife was direct-to-video film, and those tend not to get... Yeah, but I don't really... Like, with those actors, you wouldn't think direct-to-video. Like, I still to this day don't understand why it went direct-to-video. It doesn't look cheap. It looks like there was a budget. You've known people in the film. I really never quite got why it wasn't released worldwide theatrically. I think it was limited theater run, but that was about it. Jeepers Creepers. Now there's an overrated horror movie. Oh boy, that's what I don't mind. I like Jeepers Creepers, but I can totally see someone saying it's overrated. Thanks for the info, Grande. I'll look into watching it. Hell yeah, let me know what you think. Leslie Dean, that's right. She survives Freddy's Dead, which is not the greatest Elm Street movie. But on to the next overrated one now. Back into the bag of fuck. Which, I think we got one here. Yeah, we got one here. What do we got? Oh boy, here comes a fucking epic rant because I fucking hate this movie, and I confirmed it. I finally, since I saw it in the theater about 5+ years ago, I rewatched it again, and I can confirm I think it's a fucking bad movie overall. When I walked out of the theater initially, I thought, okay, but now I think I even give it a different title. It's from director Andy Muschietti. It 2017, aka how I call it, Stephen King's shit. All right, we're going to get into plot synopsis and epic rants coming because I fucking hate this movie. In the summer of 1989, which is fucking bullshit, it's taking place in the fucking 60s. Sorry. A group of bullied kids band together to destroy a shape-shifting monster, which disguises itself as a clown and preys on the children of Derry, their small Maine town. Yes, Stephen King and Andy Muschietti's shit from 2017, aka It. A lot of people like this movie. I hate this fucking movie. I hate it. And okay, the original movie with Tim Curry, you can't touch that performance. You really, truly can't. I think it's almost as untouchable as Robert Englund as Freddy. I don't think you can touch Tim Curry as Pennywise. I don't think they ever should have touched this. But when I'm saying it's overrated, number one, people mostly love it. I mean, it gets high reviews. It's a very high 7 on IMDb. This is the biggest reason here. It is the highest grossing horror film of all time. More than Jaws, more than The Sixth Sense, more than this movie and that movie. It's the highest grossing horror film of all time, grossed over $700 million worldwide. For all the movies to gross that much goddamn money, and it's Stephen King shit. The fucking remake of the miniseries. I mean, I just have an overabundance of problems with this. And problem first and foremost is the director, Andy Muschietti. I fucking don't like his style. I don't like the way he crafts scare sequences because he is one to rely on CGI to so heavy of a degree that it's actually absurd. For example, opening scene. You have Pennywise and Georgie, the confrontation, which is infamous in the miniseries. Hiya, Georgie. Hey, I'm not a stranger. And the fucking, shaking the kid's hand. And, I love the original It. I think it's great. And I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. It's such a great scene between Tim Curry and the kid. In this movie, Bill Skarsgård as fucking Pennywise doesn't work. He's awful. I don't think it's, you tried. No, he's fucking awful. Let's just be honest. He's awful. He sounds like fucking Scooby-Doo. Hey, Georgie. Hey, Georgie. You want a Scooby snack? I'm a Scooby-Dooby douchebag. Get the fuck out of here. That voice, the giant forehead, the fucking fact that when he bites you or tries to attack you, he becomes cross-eyed and his mouth opens to a degree. It's horrible CG with CG teeth all over the fucking place. You got buck fucking teeth when he's not. If he's there in person, you might as well take a shot because most of the scenes he's in fucking CGI. What the hell? How do you expect the actor to create screen presence if he's not fucking standing there at CGI? It's a bunch of bullshit. Tim Curry scared generations of kids having nightmares, scared shitless of Pennywise coming out of the drain. Every kid was horrified by that. We can all remember. Beep, beep, Richie. Kiss me, fat boy. We all remember Tim Curry. Ain't nobody ever gonna remember this fucking Bill Skarsgård motherfucker. Hey, Georgie. Get the fuck out of here. And I'm gonna hold 30 fucking red balloons and shove them up my fucking asshole because I'm Bill Skarsgård. I knew I couldn't top Tim, so I had to bring something different to the role. What did you bring different? You just put CGI all over this motherfucker. And Andy Muschietti, the way he crafts horrendously bad scare sequences. This is what's scary to Andy Muschietti. The lead kid, goes down into the basement, and Georgie's there. Oh, visions of my dead brother. This is it. You float down here. We all float down here. We all float down here. We all float down here. What? And then Pennywise bursts from the water and he charges, and people in the theater were throwing popcorn and babies in the air, scared. You get scared when it looks like a CGI clown with epilepsy is running at you through water? That scares you? If that scares you, goddammit, fucking go to a rave, go to a fucking strobe show with strobing lights all over this motherfucker. That ain't scary. That's not a good scare sequence. Oh, here's the fat kid. He's in the library. Oh, a painting comes to life and attacks him. A CGI flat painting. I'm going to shit myself. I've got to run to the bathroom and change pants because this movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes of bullshit. Stephen King's bullshit. It's just the highest grossing horror film ever. And it's this? What? I don't understand. It's not scary. You do not have a good performance from the lead heel at all. You change the time era where it's not the 60s or 50s or whatever the fuck it was in the original miniseries. Now it's the 80s, and we're referencing New Kids on the Block. Look at us. We're so cool and hip. Written in the 1980s. You're a bunch of idiots, and I hate you. It's bullshit. Bullshit. It is. It's not a scary film at all. I really truly think the director just crippled any chance that Skarsgård had at making a good fucking performance as Pennywise. I really don't like his performance. It's bad. And it's just CGI out the fucking asshole. Now, with all that negativity being said, there are positives. There are. I like the kids. I think the kids do a great job for the most part. I like the lead kid who's also in The Lodge and other things. I think he was in Knives Out. I like the lead kid. I love the kid playing Beverly. I thought she was great. Loved the kid playing the fat kid. Loved him. The one I couldn't stand was the fucking kid with the glasses from Stranger Things. You retire. What is your fucking name? Because I'll fucking call you out. You need to retire, my friend. You need to first of all, you need to get a fucking haircut, cocksucker, and then you got to retire. Finn Wolfhard. Also change your shitty name because you fucking stink. as the Richie character. And in the sequel with the 3-hour sequel with fucking Bill Hader did a much better job in this role than this kid did. I couldn't stand this kid. Is it funny if I say fuck every 5 minutes? No. You stink. You fucking stink, kid. There's scenes where they get attacked and the fat kid gets cut in the chest, and then they're trying to the horrible Marvel humor. Oh, this kid he's bleeding hamburger helper. Get the fuck. Go the fuck. All right, we're gonna go to comments because I'm gonna lose my fucking mind here. I think I've lost a few marbles because I fucking can't. I can't do it. It's a bunch of bullshit. How the hell is this the highest rated horror film, the highest grossing horror film ever? I just don't. It pisses me off to no end, man. Wow. A lot of comments. Okay, I think we're here. Yeah, I like Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, but I'm not crazy about those movies. Definitely not. You son of you like the remake of shit? Oh no. Oh, Rainbow's here. Here comes the rainbow. Rainbow is gonna be fucking. I'm guessing Rainbow probably likes it too. I am not a fan of the newer movies. I much prefer the original OG. So do I. You just can't. I really don't think you could really top that. Like, I think, okay, as good as some of the kids are in this movie, you got nothing on some of those kids. You have nothing on Jonathan Brandis. You got nothing on fucking Emily Perkins. You got nothing on fucking Seth Green. You're not as good as them. You're not. The ending of part 1 of the miniseries where we promise we're going to come back here if it returns. You put your hands in Losers Club for life. That's epic. It's so emotional. And then to end it where he wrote it on the walls because he was too afraid. That's a great ending. This is just a bunch of, we're going to hold hands and fucking in the semicircle and jack each other off and fucking, oh God, I can't. If you said It Part 2, I'd agree with you. I thought It Part 2 was a piece of shit as well, but it doesn't seem as many people like It Chapter 2. I thought that was a piece of shit as well. That was Side Quests, the movie. That was, let's fucking get Bill Hader and Jessica Chastain and James McAvoy. Oh my God, all the marks about to jack each other off. But then let's have them split up like it's fucking, once again, like a fucking Scooby-Doo. And they're all, Velma and Shaggy, you go here, you go here, and you go here. It's a movie of side quests encountering CGI lumberjacks. Oh, original Z's. Curry was great, though. Actual movie, sleepy time. Dude, I'll take the first part of the It miniseries over either one of these movies twice on Sunday. Totally agree. Both shit 1 and 2 sucked ass. I consider them kids' films. The OG is a snooze, too. Really? I like, okay, the second part of the first one, I get you. I get the gripes. Like, definitely, they dropped the ball in the last act with that giant practical spider thing. But to me, man, I will take that movie 10 times out of 10 over this because that movie understood how to scare you. And what scared people was Tim Curry's performance. I don't know anybody that was scared of fucking Bill Skarsgård. I don't know one motherfucker. Oh, well, they're all adults that you talk to. There's no legacy there. And you chopped his balls off, Andy, because you made it almost all exclusively CGI. How is the actor supposed to bring anything new that I know I can't top Tim Curry, but I want to bring something new to this. How do you expect them to bring something new? How do you expect them to grow if you just throw CGI on it? It's like fucking covering up fucking burnt French fries with ketchup. It's still a fucking burnt French fry, motherfucker. I don't care how much you're drowning it. You ain't saving it. There's an overrated direct-to-video horror movie I remember seeing called Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's overrated to you? It starred PJ Souls and Isaac Hayes. Yeah, no, I've seen it. I don't know if I would consider that overrated. I thought that I saw that got bad reviews. Yeah, this is a rant because the fucking movie is so overrated. Andy uses incredibly bad CGI for his scary scenes, and it comes off as parody. It does. Like, okay, I'm trying to think of, is there any good scare sequence in this movie? Maybe the one where Beverly's in the bathroom and the hair grabs her, and there's like all this gore all about. I thought that was a decent scare scene. But I don't know. Soundtrack was bad. I don't know. It has its heart in the right place, which is what frustrates me. They got the heart right, but the scare sequences and the villain, horrible. And that's a big part of the original It miniseries. It is. I mean, the villain's your biggest part. Tim Curry is the number one thing people remember from that. He's the killer clown forever. But I don't know. Skarsgård, just think it's a big swing and a miss. Your Uncle Sam is a rough one. Yeah, it is a rough one for sure. We got people laughing. I just can't. I can't. Scooby-Dooby douchebag. It is. Hi, Georgie. Hi. Hey, Richie. hey, you want a sailboat? It's really bad. Like, what? If I was there, I would have been like, you need to try something else. This is bullshit. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about his performance. There, a lot of people put it over. I did a poll on Instagram saying, was he good? Was he bad? Could you never fill Tim Curry's shoes? Or was he just bad, straight out, like terrible? And a lot of people voted good. Okay, maybe it was a situation where you just can't top Tim Curry. Maybe those clown shoes are too big to fill. I get that. I understand that. And maybe that is the case. Maybe nobody could have done it. And if that's the case, then I shouldn't be as hard. But here's the thing. You got Tim Curry, who not only hit a home run, he hit a grand slam with that role. Now you're bringing Bill Skarsgård, and at best, to people that like this movie and jack off to it, he hit a double. At best, he hit a fucking double. In my opinion, he struck out in 3 pitches. The fucking thing went to the backstop, and the motherfucker tripped going trying to run to first base. That's what happened. And he flattened his buck-toothed, Scooby-Dooby douchebag fucking face, CGI face, into the fucking ground. Never noticed Scooby-Doo voice. Now I can't unhear it. It's a Scooby-Doo voice. It's horrible. To the point where I'm like, God damn it, I can't. It's horrible. I like the new one more, but I never watched the original It until a couple days before the new one came out, so no nostalgia. Actually, the miniseries is slow. Well, I hear that, Ben Graham. Welcome to the graveyard, by the way. Grande, please rant your Gilbert Gottfried voice. 7 douchebag kids from Maine come in a semicircle. They all cut their hands and start jacking each other off, except for the one with a giant cast on his arm that says Losers Club on it. You have Bill Skarsgård with buck teeth and a giant forehead trying to act scary through all the CGI makeup and bullshit put on him by Andy Muschietti. And Andy Muschietti is getting off his knees from blowing so much dick. Fuck you, Andy. The original with a 10-minute segment of adults riding a bike. Well, that's true. That's true. That's the second part of the original. I could get making fun of it. True, classically trained actors have that Tim Curry energy. Skarsgård had just a lazy eye. Yeah, it's just so odd. I don't understand what is the. I'm trying to think of any of the movies, either movie, if Bill Skarsgård gave anything good. The only scene that maybe would be in the second one where he meets this little girl with like a birthmark on her face. And he's saying, oh, people judge me because I'm different too. That stuff was great. Why is there not more of that? Like, instead, it's just always the same nonsense. It's like, it's very one note. It's not scary. It's just not. I just don't find it scary. I think it's quite bad. Tim Curry, you could buy him being a friendly clown from a distance, but Bill Skarsgård just looks absurdly scary already. That just ruins it. That's a good point. So like Tim Curry could talk you in because it's Tim Curry. I mean, he looked scary, but at the same time, he could be funny too because it's Tim Curry. He could do a lot with nothing. Skarsgård, it's very one note, and I don't like the performance. And I maybe it isn't all his fault. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on the actor because I've liked him in other things. But I do blame the director more. I think it's the director's fault. Easy Grande, love the rant, but hate for you to have an aneurysm on the air or something. That would not be fun. That would not be fun. There's 21 motherfuckers in the house tonight, so that would not be fun. I do fuck with the remake, though. LOL. Love a Grande meltdown, dude. I appreciate that. So you're saying it makes your top 5 clown movies? Of course it does. Of course it does. It's right there. I meant Andy, not Andy. It's all right. He's a piece of shit anyway. I've been calling him Andy Muschietti, so I don't think he'll mind you missing the Y for an I or the I for a Y. Tim Curry Pennywise is one of the reasons why I love horror. Tim Curry's an icon. Agree. Bill Hader was very good in the sequel. I love Bill Hader in the sequel. I do think both these movies, the It Shit Chapter 1, Shit Chapter 2, they had good performances from other people. I just think the most important performance was not good. And the direction and scare sequences were fucking bad to the point where I would say it's like some of the worst shit I've ever seen. Like, I do not understand that guy's concept of horror. It's have a CGI thing charge at somebody while shaking and screaming. That's his vision of horror. And I think it's bullshit. That's not horror. That's fucking I don't know what it is, but it's a bunch of bullshit. Curry was great in the OG, but John Boy Walton, Judge Harry, and Jack Tripper have to. Okay, Richie saying "fuck" every 5 minutes, like, yeah, he is, and it's like, oh, they'll laugh because he's a child saying these absurd things. No, I won't, you stupid fucking bitch. The original from 1990 had some carnival music. Love the score in the original. This movie has a bad score, and it's all 1980s. How do you fuck that up? It's 1980s music, all of it, and you still fucked it up. How? The montage sequence, it's horrible. I forget what song they used, but it's horrible music. It doesn't fit the scene at all. Maybe somebody could tell me, man, but that's a bunch of bullshit. Tommy Lee Wallace is much better horror filmmaker than Annie Muschietti. No fucking doubt about it. Tommy Lee, I will watch the CGI and the Langoliers over this fucking movie. I didn't mind Shit Chapter 1 that much, but Shit Chapter 2 murdered it. Okay, fair enough. I would take the finale of the OG Part 2 over the gang bullying Pennywise to death, where he turns to a CGI fucking baby. Yeah, I would actually agree with you. Grande, now tell us this is a rant. Well, it just might be. I don't know. I can't. Holy shit. When I get mad about something, it's generally kind of funny. There is an underrated 80s comedy called Terrorvision. I love Terrorvision. That's an underrated one. I completely agree. Oh Lord, damn, that's good. Oh, the Gilbert. Yeah, Gilbert is, I do Gilbert pretty good. Hey DeRay, I should be asleep, but this is a total mental breakdown. I'm like, what's his name? Michael Douglas in Breaking Down. Somebody give me change so I could call my wife from the phone booth. That was very good. Thank you. Yeah, no, I love Gilbert, man. May you rest in pepperonis. LMAO, it's getting better by the second. Yeah, no, that made my night. Gilbert, yeah, no, I love Gilbert. Curry's Pennywise looks like a fair clown from far, but a crackhead. Yeah, he does. He does look like a crackhead. You should have got the crackhead from Friday to play Pennywise. That would have been great. Smokey's taking a shit. I would have loved to see that fucking guy get some work. No, instead, Bill Skarsgård, bring him in with his buck teeth and fucking Scooby-Dooby douchebag voice. Bill Hader was way too good in Shit Chapter 2. That movie did not deserve him. I agree. I actually completely agree. Skarsgård looks like a Halloween Horror Nights clown. Yes, he did, with a fucking abnormally... You think Christina Ricci has a big fucking forehead. Look at that motherfucker. It was one of the most obnoxious and irritating musical scores of the 2010s. Completely agree. Egg Boy. All right. Well, yeah, I think we've ranted enough on Shit Chapter 1. I apologize. Didn't mean for that to go so terribly long because sometimes I get off on fucking tangents, but back to underrated. Now it's time to be positive. Yeah, positive out of the Grande's Graveyard official mug. Yeah. All right. What do we got? Oh, okay. Speaking of a movie that is the total opposite, that is totally fun and totally creative and totally deserved more fucking money at the box office than this fucking Shit Chapter 1 movie did. This is an Indonesian horror film from the rifled year of 1981. This is Mystics in Bali. Gotta be one of the top 5 weirdest films I've ever seen. It is tremendous. Let's read a brief plot synopsis. Let's go here. Mystics in Bali. A woman researches a book that takes her to the black magic cult of Leek in Bali. She meets an evil witch who promises to train her in the dark arts, but she is tricked and turned into a flying vampire head with the internal organs hanging down from her neck. Yes! Mystics in Bali. Oh my God, what a fantastic movie. This has got to be one of the most underrated, over-the-top, fun 1980s horror movies that there ever was. Like I said, Indonesian horror movie, and it basically tells the story of this woman who's getting super into the occult and super into witchcraft. And she's told that if she travels to Indonesia and she meets the witch master, that she will be trained in the dark arts and she can become this immortal witch. So she flies over to Indonesia. She meets a guy there that he's kind of showing her the ropes. And then she encounters the witch, who is this very fun, over-the-top witch actress. And if I try to imitate it, I might just have a fucking aneurysm because of the Gilbert Gottfried and Scooby-Dooby douchebag and all that shit. I won't imitate it because I don't want to fucking blow up my brain. But she is so wonderfully over the top with giant, long purple nails and hilarious visual effects, like lightning effects and all of this stuff. It reminded me, the effects in it reminded me of Page Master. This is like 10, 13 years before Page Master, Macaulay Culkin in the early 90s. I would say 13 years before Page Master. has those type of visual makeup, special effects. And then basically what happens is she transforms this woman into a flying vampire head with all of her internal organs hanging down from her neck below. And she flies around the village and she's told, if you eat 3 babies, 3 newborn babies, you will be an eternal witch. You'll be immortal. That's all you got to do. Eat 3 newborn babies. And so this fucking vampire head by day is obviously a woman. By night, she's a flying vampire head with all the fucking organs going around trying to eat children. And there's one scene where this woman eats a baby right out of a pregnant woman's vajayjay. And it's fucking amazing. It is, talk about getting some good head. That is some crazy ass shit. They should show it in fucking Alabama. I couldn't believe how absolutely crazy this movie was and how off the walls. And then there's a point, there's a wizard that challenges the witch. There's some crazy lightning shots and crazy. There's pig people. It's one of the most ambitious movies I've ever seen in my life because it is so wonderfully embracing it being over the top and so crazy and out there with the special makeup effects and visual effects that it's actually a sight to be behold. I love this movie. Always have, always will. I think it's a true underrated gem. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because it's Indonesian. Maybe that's why it hasn't gotten so much love in America. I don't know anyone from Indonesia, but I would love to know. I would love to know actually what exactly, the film's reputation is in Indonesia, because I love that one, man. I absolutely love that. I just think this is some crazy shit, and in the best of way. Like, it is a fun movie, quick movie, less than an hour and a half. It's got a great energy, a great fucking crazy batshitness. You have a scene where this woman gets sick and she starts throwing up live rats. Goo. You have, like I said, these dancing pig people. You have a woman getting a tattoo via lightning. I mean, there's just so many things that this movie checks off for me. I love Mystics and Valley. Always have, always will. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. That would be a question for a different day. There's only ever been a DVD, a bare bones DVD of the film. But from what I understand, they're trying to 4K transfer right now. I don't know which company, but from what I've heard from reports, that they're working on a 4K special edition of this. And I cannot wait for that. It's been over 40 years. That movie deserves a nice special edition with features and a nice new transfer. I definitely think it would look fun in HD. So that is Mystics and Valley, one I highly recommend for people. Let's go back to the chat. ATG Nat Podcast, great mug. Dude, yeah, my brother-in-law got me this mug for Christmas this year, and it's kind of cool. I was like, oh shit, like, because I didn't have my pumpkin, so I said, I'll pull the good names out of the Grande's graveyard, the mug of approval, and then the shit stays in the shit barrel here. Never heard of it. Dude, that's the point of this show, baby. It's underrated. Go check it out. Go find it. Go get lost in it. Oh, yeah, batshit crazy film. AJ's heard of it. Okay, AJ's liking some Mystics and Valley. Never seen Mystics and Valley. Highly recommend. Staring at the Mondo DVD. There you go. The floating head, dude. It is wild. That's like a perfect movie to me to watch with friends. Get 5 or 6 people over, get a couple of pizzas, get a couple of fucking root beers, Mountain Dew, whatever floats your boat, brewskis, dooskies, whatever the fuck, and watch Mystics and Valley. It is such a fun time with friends. It's so over the top that it actually is quite a spectacle. I love it. There's an underrated 90s direct-to-video horror movie I have seen called Pinocchio's Revenge. That's Kevin Tenney. That's Kevin Tenney, man. We love some Kevin Tenney here on Grande's Graveyard. Apparently it's on Netflix. Is it on Netflix? I didn't know that. The Last House on the Left shirt's fire. Yeah, no, I got this today from Creeporama. Shout out to Corey who sent this to me. The link to buy it, of course. The Last House on the Left. Can a movie go too far? I thought this was awesome. I also got the white t-shirt as well. Let's see. From farm to table. Hell yeah, buddy. Oh, my mom's from Alabama. Is she? Oh, is she? Mama Zitro. God bless her. Jamie Hart is here. Hello. Jamie Hart's throwing us a heart. A purple heart. Hell yeah. Let's do it. ATG didn't laughing. I love Mystics and Valley. To me, when you look at the 1980s, you have so many horror movies that get so much love, but Mystics and Valley is one I think deserves more. I cannot wait for a special edition to come out one day. I'll pre-order that shit to support it. One of my favorite low-key 80s gems, Mystics and Valley from 1981. Highly recommend that movie. Back to the bag of shit here. Oh boy. Back to the bag of fuck. What's going to happen? Oh, boy. See, this is another more recent one, not too long ago, this movie came out. And one that I was immensely disappointed in because I've heard all the positive reviews. It got a sequel. A lot of people seem to love it. And a lot of people seem to love this guy who directed it. It was his directorial debut. He's also on a very famous comedy show. This is A Quiet Place. Sorry if you can't read that too good. A Quiet Place. I've got a brief plot synopsis here for this fucking monkey turd. In a post-apocalyptic world, a family is forced to live in silence while hiding from monsters with ultra-sensitive hearing. Of course, it's directed by John Krasinski, stars his real-life wife, Emily Blunt, and him. And it's a post-apocalyptic world. You can't make noise. That's the whole gimmick of the movie. There's not a lot of loud talking. A lot of the talking is whispering. There must be, if you took a shot for every time John Krasinski does this, if you took a shot every time he's doing that, you'd be fucking dead by about the 20-minute mark. Okay, on paper, I like this concept. I like this idea. And a lot of people, before I went to go see it, they were like, oh, it's like an old school Twilight Zone. You'll love it. Like, because I'm a big Twilight Zone guy. So they were, you'll love it. It's just like an original Twilight Zone episode. It doesn't overstay its welcome. People telling me all that stuff. I do think it's too long. And it's not even that long. It's just, I don't think it works as a feature-length film. It's exactly an hour and a half. But to me, it feels like it's like 2 hours. And to me, this concept can only work as a short. I don't think you can make a film where you're not talking the whole time. It's just too fucking far down the pretentious line to me. And okay, John Krasinski, decent actor, decent, but as a filmmaker, I definitely think he showed some rust because this was his first project as a director, and I can kind of tell it's definitely not a scary film. It's definitely not a film with great tension-filled sequences. I just never cared for this movie. I remember seeing it in the theater and people went gaga over it. This made quite a good chunk of change. I can look down here to see what this movie made in the box office. It made a ton of money. 340 million worldwide, 50 million its opening weekend. I mean, Afterlife is a movie that deserved to gross that much on its opening weekend. Not this fucking movie. It's just a slog to get through. Yes, the opening scene is quite shocking. You have a little kid. Obviously, little kids are generally loud, and he drops a toy that makes a lot of noise, and he gets taken out by one of these things. Wow, they killed the kid right off the bat. But the movie from there has no balls. And the monsters themselves look like shit. They look terrible. They eventually find a way in this movie to kill them, but it's right at the very end. Like right when it picks up, it ends. And it's, oh, you got to come see the sequel. Not a bad idea, John Krasinski. Not a bad idea, especially because I think that sequel made some good money too. Granted, that was one of those movies that got delayed because of COVID. But I don't know. To me, you really missed out here because I think a better director, number one, would have done a much better job with this. I appreciate what John Krasinski was trying to do, and I like John Krasinski. I just don't think this is not a good first movie to be a director on because it's solely reliant on how good and scary your direction of the film is. And it's really not scary overall. I really don't. I don't think this is a scary film at all. I really don't. I think there's so many different directors that could have made this work. Look at what Mike Flanagan did with Hush. That's a movie that plays with sound at times because it's a deaf woman and this intruder breaks in and that's playing the I can't hear you. That's a tension-filled movie. That's a movie that creates suspense and good horror scare sequences. Whether you like Hush or not, I think that's a good directed movie from Mike Flanagan. Again, whether you like him or not, I like Mike Flanagan overall. I think the guy really has some talent. And that's a guy that I think would have hit a home run with this. However, Krasinski, no. And it's far too commercial looking. It doesn't look like a horror film. It's way too polished, in my humble opinion. I just don't like the look of the movie. Again, it doesn't look like a horror film at all. And aside from that opening scene, it really doesn't have any guts, doesn't have any balls, doesn't have any oomph to it. I just feel like in the hands of a better director, this would have worked better. Or alternative, a 25, 30-minute short. Something short and sweet. Come, arrive, deliver, go home. That's it. Like something quick. And I think this maybe would have worked. That's just my 2 cents on this movie. I know I'm in the minority again, but I know a lot of people seem to love this movie and praise it. I'm just not one of them. Kevin Tenney, the savior of the cellar. I love Kevin Tenney. Very nice guy, too. I met him. Sweetheart of a guy. Of course, director of Witchboard and Night of the Demons and so many fun movies. He's made some really underrated ones I could have definitely thrown in the underrated. One of the 2000s underrated I have seen is a TV movie called Scream. If you know what I did last Friday the 13th is a horror movie spoof. Oh, okay. I have not seen that one. The Quiet Place, meh. Yeah, very meh for considering it made $340 million and gets all these positive reviews. I think it has like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever the fuck. That's crazy overrating. Yeah, I agree, Grande. Quiet Place sucks big time. Yeah, see, notice that most of you, okay, there were people that liked X. There's people that like Shit, the Shit remake. This movie, it doesn't seem like any of you like it. So it, I think, appealed to the everyday fucking moviegoer. I think it appealed more to a Joe Blow than it did us genre fans. That's an assumption. I could be dead wrong. If I am, let me know. But I would go out as far to say that. I definitely think that's more who it drew to. A Quiet Place, because there ain't no $340 million worth of genre fans, I'll tell you that. I like A Quiet Place 1 and 2, but I don't love those films. Yeah, I don't either. I don't like either one. I didn't see the second one, to be fair. A Quiet Place is a masterpiece when you compare it to The Silence, a Stanley Tucci movie based on the book that came out before A Quiet Place. I have not seen The Silence, so I will take your word for that, Tom. I generally think you have a very good eye and mind for the genre, so I will take your word. I'm going to avoid The Silence like the plague. And The Silence definitely did not seem to, I've never even heard of it. And I like Stanley Tucci, but no, I haven't even heard of that movie. So definitely I will stay far away, my friend. A Quiet Place 1 and 2 have endings that leave a lot to be desired. That holy shit talk about a bad, ambiguous ending. Yeah, man, we need a legit release for Hush. Yes, we do. That movie totally deserves it. And he's big enough now to get it. So I don't know what they're waiting for. Without Jenna Fisher, Krasinski is nothing. Hell yeah, Mateo. You fucking preach that, buddy. I don't know. I wanted to like it. I remember going to the theater being like, oh, wow, I'm kind of excited. But I just didn't get everybody going crazy about it. I was like, no, this is nothing to go fucking crazy about. Didn't mind it. Definitely not as great as everyone thinks it is, though. Yeah, no, I agree. Saw them both once. Pretty meh overall. Just should have been a standalone feature. Yeah, that or like a 30-minute short. Like when they rebooted Creepshow, when they rebooted Jordan Peele's The Twilight Zone, which is a fucking horse of a different color. One of those, like a 30-minute window where, okay, we can do this and we expand on it because it's short. Hour and 30 minutes of whispering, or it got old quick to me. I don't know. I didn't find the film effective at all in the least. So that is A Quiet Place. Kind of a shit show. Back into the underrated mug of fun. What do we got up next? This movie I love. And I actually, like, the more I watch it, the more I want to say that I wish this was a cult classic, but it's not. And it's a movie that I think everybody, if there's one, this is probably the one I'd recommend the most out of all these movies that we're going to be talking about here tonight, at least the 5 in the underrated mug. It is from the year 2013. It'll be celebrating its 10th anniversary this coming summer. I believe August this one came out. This is Jugface. Yes, Jugface from 2013. Little folk horror flavor for y'all. Let's get into the brief plot synopsis. When she learns the supernatural pit, worshipped by her remote community in the woods, has demanded her as a blood sacrifice, Ada struggles to find her way to survive, while the pit lashes out in anger. Yes, from writer-director Chad Crawford Kinkle, this is Jugface, starring the voluptuous Lauren Ashley Carter, who I consider her a low-key scream queen. Of course, she was in Darling. She was in The Woman. She was in Jugface. She's in, I think, what is it called? It's Imitation Girl. So many really good performances. Darlin', she was in that movie. She's been in so many awesome horror movies. She's a diehard horror fan, and I consider her a low-key scream queen. I really like Lauren Ashley Carter. I think she's great. I think this is arguably her best performance as this girl, Ada, who is in this kind of southern backwoods community that looks like a movie straight out of, like something like Blood on Satan's Claw, or a Wicker Man, the type of folk horror movie, but it's not overly stylized and it doesn't look like a movie from the 1970s, thus giving it its own identity and feel. That's a big problem I have with X, right? Here's an example of a movie that, yes, similar to a bygone era on paper, yes, but everything else about it is more new school, and I liked that about it. We follow Lauren Ashley Carter's character, Ada, and she is in love with her brother, and they have a very very passionate, incestuous relationship. And AJ, where are you? We see Lauren Ashley Carter's yits. So I know that's going on the watch list for Mr. AJ Zetro. But they have a very incestuous relationship. Larry Fessenden plays the father. Of course, Sean Young from Stripes and so many other countless movies plays the mother. And they're in this backwoods community. And basically one day she learns, Lauren Ashley Carter's character learns that she is had her face printed on a jug. And what does that mean? Basically what happens is once a month, they have to sacrifice somebody to the pit in town. And whoever's face is molded on this jug that's made by this kind of local pottery maker, played by Sean Bridgers, who's, again, another great character actor from The Woman, from movies like Room. I mean, I love Sean Bridgers. He's playing a good guy in this, which is always a nice change of pace to see. He plays like this humble, kind of weird, there's something a little bit wrong with him, pottery maker, and he makes these town jugs. And if it has your face on it, you have to be sacrificed into the pit in order for the community to go on living. And basically what the pit does is it can cure any illness. It is this kind of religious belief of these people that the pit is their God, that the pit is their Allah, if you will. And one day she finds that her face is on the jug, and she tricks the guy who's making the pottery and she buries it. And then basically it's all the consequences of her burying that jug. And then she finds out that she's pregnant, and there's somebody else who was sacrificed that maybe should not have been. There are some really fun twists and turns along the way, some people getting killed that you didn't see coming. And overall, I think this is a really, really good horror film. Very original type of folk style horror film. And overall, I really like this thing. I mean, the music in it is fantastic. I really like the look of the movie. The performances from everybody. I always like Larry Fessenden. I mean, he's always a guy that brings it, just loves the horror genre from top to bottom. That's a guy that really just loves the genre. Sean Young gives a great energetic performance in this movie, where there's a great scene where she finds out that the incestuous relationship's going on and she beats the shit out of her daughter. I mean, great stuff from Sean Young in this movie. I don't know. Overall, I just always really like this movie. It's one that the underrated ones, it's tough because I don't want to spoil them. As far as where this movie's streaming, I don't know. Let me see here. It says it's on Prime Video. I think it could be on Tubi. This is a movie that would definitely, I would think, be on Tubi. I know the Blu-ray goes for dumb money. This is an out-of-print Blu-ray, goes for over $100. So that's a damn shame because I like this movie a lot. But like I said, this is one that I think it's original enough. It has that folk horror feel to it. I think you have a lot of interesting themes. The horrors of course, incestuality. The horrors of your parents not approving of what you're doing or where you're going in life. The fears of dying, right? Should I die for my religion? Should I really be sacrificed to this pit? Is my baby going to go along with me? I mean, there's some really horrific stuff in this. Okay, brief spoiler alert. Okay, I'll do some brief spoilers because this is one that I actually kind of want to talk about a little bit more than I am right now. So brief spoiler. I'll tell you what. I'll hold the remote up. Once the remote goes down, I'll stop talking spoilers about the movie. So spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Jugface and you're planning on seeing it, spoiler alert. Sorry, I'm just going to have to talk about some stuff. So Lauren Ashley Carter's character, she is going to be asked to be married or kind of joined, if you will. That's how they say it in the film, with this guy that she doesn't love. And instead, his face is made on the jug and he is sacrificed instead. And this, of course, makes everybody sad in the town. Then her brother comes down with an illness. And basically what happens is they put him in the pit to try to cure his illness, and the pit sucks up the brother. So she's lost her future husband. She's lost her loving brother in an incestuous relationship. He's gotten eaten by this fucking thing. And then she tries to skip town with Sean Bridgers. And of course, that doesn't go out too good until they get dragged back and whipped to fucking hell by Sean Young and Larry Fessenden. They beat the fucking shit out of her to the point where she miscarries the child. And there's a wild finale where she realizes and accepts her fate. I have to go into the pit. I have to be sacrificed. That's it. There's no point of moving on. And I don't know, man. Overall, love the direction here. I wish this filmmaker would go on to do more. He only went on to do one other movie, and that's a damn shame. This is a movie that people should talk about more. People should see this more. I think Lauren Ashley Carter's money is the lead. I think Sean Bridgers is great as the fucking side kind of goofy pottery maker. Fessenden, Young, always good. Music's fantastic. Look at the film. It's original. I like the movie a lot. Jugface, go out and see it if you haven't. I really like Jugface. Really a good movie in my humble opinion. So that's one I really wanted to put over here. Let's see. I think we were here. Another great pick, Weird and Wonderful movie. Yeah, no, I absolutely love Jugface. I like, it's baffling, man. Like 5.2 on IMDb. Like what? Like that's way too low. The movie's really short too. Like it's a really short watch. I think it's like 80 minutes. I mean, it's really short to the point where it's like you can easily get through this movie. It's never boring. I don't know. This is one of those, when it came out, I remember it had a little bit of buzz on VOD and then it just came and went. Like nobody talks about it now. I think that's a damn shame. It's one I would love to support on physical media, but again, the Blu-ray's out of print, so it's the damn shame. Make sure you hit the like button. Thank you so much, brother Sean. I don't know. I can't see when this is live how many likes or whatever we have. Yeah, the ages have about the yits. One of the underrated 70s horror movie I've seen is The Car, where you have this mysterious black car that goes on a rampage. It starred Kathy and Kyle Richard. That's awesome. We do have an underrated 70s one left in the cup here, so I'm super excited about that. Love that one, Fred. Love the argument between old guy and the hitchhiker with the trumpet. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. The car is fun. The stream is always so cool and interesting that it blows by pretty quick. Yeah, no, I know. I think somebody was mentioning before, they were like, you should do more than just live streams. I try, but I love doing these shows. I think it's a lot of fun. And yeah, no, they do seem to go by pretty, like we've been over an hour. It doesn't feel like it to me. Love your avatar on Dead of Night. Yeah, it is a cool avatar. So I'm assuming this movie has nothing to do with Archie. Oh, that's Jughead. My bad. Meathead. Yes, I love that. Let's see. It has great cover art and the Jug masks were a good design. Yes, they look fantastic. I really like the designs of the. I mean, they look great to me. I don't know. I just think this is like another movie that it just never got why people don't talk about it more. Like it's just kind of low key. It's just really, really like a total hidden gem in my opinion. But you know, I completely agree. I love Jugface. I think Jugface is great. Sean Young, Blade Runner. Yes, that's Sean Young, buddy. Thanks, Sean. That's not Sean Young. That's the Sean Blue Digital, ladies and gents. But okay, back into the overrated. Okay, I think we got two more of each, right? What's this one? Jeez. This one was really disappointing because this one of potential wise, I think had a lot of potential. And it honestly flounders its potential. I think that's the best way to put it. This is from the year 2016. This is The Love Witch. Yes, The Love Witch. Let me get to a brief plot synopsis here. I think it's right here. Not much of a plot synopsis. A modern-day witch uses spells and magic to get men to fall in love with her with deadly consequences. The Love Witch. Okay. Written and directed by Anna Biller, who I will right off the bat say this. From a visual standpoint, this is one of the most impressive movies I've ever seen. Like, unbelievably impressive. It looks like exactly like a movie that came out in 1960. Like, it doesn't look like a movie they tried to make look old. This is a movie that just looks old, even though it's from 2016. The visuals, the colors, the performance from the lead, really good. I mean, really good. To the point where I'm like, damn, I'm actually upset that this is in the overrated bin, but it has to go here. Samantha Robinson is the lead, the Love Witch. I think she's great. She's sexy. She's seductive, provocative. Just a visual treat. Has a wonderful screen presence, even though her nose is kind of all right, I'm not one to fucking critique how somebody looks, but her nose is kind of fucked up. Like her nose, she looks like a Whoville. Kind of like, I don't know. Like I feel bad. If you've seen this bitch's nose, you know what I mean? It kind of looks like has like the Whoville nose, but otherwise like a 10 out of 10 woman. I mean, that's a beautiful woman. And you do get to see her a little bit naked. It's semi-yits, but it's not Christina Ricci yits or Lauren Astor Collar yits. It's fucking Love Witch yits. It's like barely. I wanted to like this so bad. And that's why it's in the overrated bin, because I didn't like this movie at all. Basically, I mean, it reminds me a lot of George Romero's Season of the Witch, but if it was done bad, if it just wasn't as good. The look is similar. The feel, vibe, all that stuff. It's basically Samantha Robinson's character in every single conversation in this movie is talk about men. Why do men think they're superior to women? Women are superior to men. That it's every fucking cock-sucking Scooby-Dooby douchebag argument. Everyone there's nothing else. There's no character development. There's no real plot to this thing. It's just kind of the same thing. She's looking for love in all the wrong places. She drugs and seduces men to have sex with her. and then tests them after. It's like a test afterwards. She has to test that if they're good for her love. And if not, she kills them. And spoiler alert, nobody's good enough for her love. I just think it's a mess. And it's 2 hours long. Real slog to get through. Real slog. The first 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm into this. I'm visually invested. This is a beautiful woman. She's seducing men. There's some nudity. There's some bright colors. There's some old school, like Jess Franco cinematography zooms. And like I said, the bright, glistening colors, it feels distinctly like 1960s, 1970s. The look is tremendous. Cinematography is tremendous. There's nothing else here. It's wasted on a nothing story. There's no story here. There's no plot. There's nothing interesting to say that they don't say in the first 5 minutes. They're saying the same shit in the last 5 minutes. I just don't really see what the hype is here. And this movie apparently plays in California. And I don't know if it's what Quentin Tarantino's. I don't know if it's the Beverly Cinema, or I know it plays quite often in California. It's like a big cult classic down there. I don't understand why. I don't think it's that entertaining. After about 30 minutes, it becomes the same fucking thing over and over and over until we get to the credits. Lame, just lame. Really unfortunate, because I wanted to like this more, but overall, I feel it's quite overrated of a movie. I just really never got into this one like most people. Let's get into the comments, though. Think we were... No, I went too far. Think we were right here. I've never seen The Love Witch, and I don't think I've heard of it either. If you see the trailer, you might be enticed, because again, it's like it sells itself on it's old school looking, it has that classic old school feel, it has beautiful, bright, vibrant colors, a beautiful woman. It sells itself very well, but the movie itself, I just don't really care for. Like, it's just really drawn out for no fucking reason other than to just be pretentious to me. One of the underrated horror movie series I remember is a vampire series called Subspecies. Okay. I haven't seen The Love Witch, but the actress playing the character is truly beautiful. Yeah, other than the Whoville nose, I agree. And she has an insane body. Insane. Like, to the point where I was like, wow, watching this. Yes, Fred, I've only seen Subspecies 1 and 2, though. Never understood the love for The Love Witch. I don't either. Surprised you like the look of it, but not the Ty West 70s aesthetic. Here's the thing. I get that. I totally understand where you're coming from. I feel like with his movies, he's trying to be set. This was just, it just was. Like you could have told me this came out in the 60s and was just an insane HD transfer, and I would believe you. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think with Ty West, it crippled his film's identities, right? House of the Devil, perfect example. That doesn't feel like a horror movie that's going, I'm sorry, it does. It feels like a horror movie that's trying to be a throwback. And it feels like more like a Rosemary's Baby, especially when you get to the ending. Same with X. It looks like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It looks like Eaten Alive. It's not really its own thing. Same thing with Cabin Fever 2, even though I know he doesn't want to take responsibility for that one. It feels like a John Waters 90s movie, more so than it does a Cabin Fever direct-to-video sequel in late 2000s. Maybe that's a good thing, but not a great movie. But I don't know. I get your argument, and maybe you have a point. I actually think you do have a great point. I don't know. With this particular movie, I liked the look of it. I felt it was more defined by that, as opposed to trying to emulate that. It was like, no, this is this, and then we have nothing else to offer. Whereas Ty West's films, it's like, we're trying to be old school. We have an interesting idea. We're not going to stick the landing. That's kind of the yin yang there. But I totally get you. I think you make a great point. Heard of it? Rusty's here. Hey, Russ. Heard of it, but Love Witch sounds a bit easily overrated, enough to make me not bother to watch it. I think you're saving 2 hours, Russ. I do. And I think there's a lot more productive things you can do in 2 hours of your life. Just watch Love Witch. It's classy, soft porn. I'm surprised it doesn't run a Grande rant. I don't think it's like Stephen King shit offensive. I just think it's very pretentious, like to the point where it's just, I was like angry at it towards the last 20, like it was an hour and 40 in, and I was like, this is fucking pretentious. Like I was more frustrated that it wasted, I don't know, I think it wasted potential, because I liked the look of the movie. Hey, Russ, meant earned. Yeah, no worries. Love Witch and Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem seem like they live in the same universe. Yeah, definitely. I could see that for sure. That's definitely Rob Zombie's like trying to be like Kubrick in that movie. Like, there's a lot of Kubrickisms in that movie. I wish Lords of Salem had a stronger ending, but I do enjoy that movie. I would say the same. I actually don't mind that. I don't like, for all of his movies, I don't mind that one for sure. But all right, back to the underrated. And remember, we still got the Tweener, so I think we got 4 more movies to go here. Let's see. This one, I kind of want to save this one towards the end for the end. Yeah, let's do. Nah, we'll go how I picked it. Okay, so this next one, another super underrated one, and right behind Jugface, I'd say this is the second one I'd recommend the most. This and Jugface are the two I think you should need to go out of your fucking way to see. This is from the year 2011. This is a French film. This is Livid. Yes, I'm sorry. My shitty handwriting is not registering. And now I made the camera all blurry. That's not good. Oh, no. I'm all blurry now. Hold on. We got to fix this. Whoosh, Matrix fully loaded. Oh, my goodness. This is bad. Hold on. We're gonna unplug the camera for a second. Uh-oh. What the fuck? Okay. We're back. Sorry. I hope the volume's okay. I just didn't want the rest of the show to be like, oh my God, you're so fucking blurry. But let's see. I'm sorry. Livid. Let's get into the plot synopsis here. Sorry if I didn't mean to lose anybody here. Livid. Okay, from 2011. This is a French film. The suggestion of a big treasure hidden somewhere inside Mrs. Jessel's once renowned classical dance academy will become an irresistible lure to a fiendish trap for Lucy and her friends. Yes. Livid from 2011. Now, anybody who's a fan of the movie Inside, you will remember these two filmmakers. Of course, I want to get their names right here. Alexandre Bustillo and Julien Moiri, who, of course, they were the writer-director team that brought us a little movie called Inside in the year 2007. And that was a movie that stormed the fucking, DVD market at the time. Huge, huge hit. To this day, a big, big hit. Probably their biggest movie that they've done. This was the follow-up. Took 4 years. Took 4 long years to come out finally with their follow-up. I know at a time they were in the running to be the directors of the Halloween remake. They were batted around for that. It was them, Dante Tomaselli, and Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's the one they ended up going with. But they were, I think, better choices to me than Rob Zombie ever was. And Inside proves that. And if Inside doesn't prove that, this movie proves that right here, Livid in 2011, because I love this movie. And I think this is a truly terrifying horror movie, or probably the scariest movie we're going to be talking about here tonight, and scary for the right reasons, I should say. This follows this woman who is a nurse that goes home to home, like I don't know what the job title would be, but basically goes home to home, taking care of elderly patients, changing them, making sure they have water, stuff like that. People that are completely bedridden or couch women ridden, or just completely can't leave their houses. She goes to them. She's being trained by this, mysterious redheaded woman. Our lead has these 2 different colored eyes. She's kind of a beautiful lady. I would love to get the actress's name right here. I thought she was really pretty as well. I believe her name is Chloe Collode. I'm not French, so I may be screwing up the last name there. If any French Grande's Graveyard viewers, you want to tell me how to actually pronounce that correctly, feel free. She's going house to house, and then finally they get to the last house of the day, and what this woman that's training her tells her is this old broad who's hooked up to like a ventilator. It's like this crazy, like almost like a Darth Vader mask that's on this lady's face. And it's a ventilator helping her breathe. She has this key around her neck. And she says, this old hoe has a giant treasure in this house somewhere. And nobody's ever been able to find it. And she's like, have you looked? And she says, oh my God, I've tried every single door in this house. I've never been able to find the treasure. It's a shame because it's apparently enough to where you could retire for a lifetime. So she puts this idea in this girl's head. She goes to the bar, which is actually in French, it's the Slaughtered Lamb. They go to the Slaughtered Lamb. There's a lot of fun nods to other horror movies in here that I'll mention. They go to the Slaughtered Lamb, and she's talking to her boyfriend and his buddy, and she says, listen, I mean, the new job is going good, but there's this old lady's house that we could go in and we could rob, and we could be millionaires overnight. We could be set for life overnight if we break in, and she has this key around her neck. I bet you it goes to one of the doors that's locked in the house. And so the 3 of them kind of plan, we're going to break in, we're going to steal the fortune, and we're going to make a run for it. They're like all early 20-somethings, and the boyfriend is kind of sick and fed up of his job. He feels like he'll be working with his hands the rest of his life. He's just had it. We're breaking into this old bitch's house, and we're stealing her fortune when we find it. The amount of dread that goes from that point on is absolutely amazing. You can cut the tension in this movie with a knife. I think it's incredible tension to the point where I would say it's on the level of Inside. Like that's how tension filled it is. When La Femme is outside stalking and smoking a cigarette, it gives you that feel for almost an hour straight of this movie. And that's really tough to do, in my opinion. I mean, but it's fantastic. They break in and they take the key off this old broad. And basically what happens is all hell starts to break loose. And you learn that there were some dark things going on in this academy where there were, I mean, this is the hard part about this. I'm going to have to spoil some stuff. So let me get the comments and I'm going to spoil it. I'll hold up the remote again for anybody who doesn't want to know. So we'll do it that way because I don't want to piss anybody off. Francesca has that old school look too. That was pretty good. I've not seen that. I've not seen Francesca. Did Promising Young Woman make the underrated list? It should. That did not make it. It's not in there, but I didn't see that either. So I couldn't be on it. I thought Promising Young Woman got good reviews. Did it not get good reviews, Russ? One of the most underrated 90s movies I remember seeing is a movie called Serpent's Lair. It starred Jeff Fahey. Love Jeff Fahey. Married man who was stalked by a succubus. When I went to rate this bad girl, according to Letterboxd, there was a 73 Love Witch. Not sure if that's the same plot, though. I'm talking about the 2016 one, but I don't know. Maybe. LO mine does that when I show a movie case. Yeah, it freaks out of the focus. I was just like, let me just unplug and replug and come right back. I remember finding the Inside DVD sealed at a flea market for $5. That's the best $5 DVD you'll ever buy. 8 subs. Hey, man, that would be awesome. Hey, if you guys want to share it out, go ahead because we're close. Hey, 8 subs, man. We'll get to 600. I'll do a big giveaway at 1,000 again. If we get to 1,000, granted, we're a long way away from 1,000, but 600 definitely seems obtainable in the near future. So that should be a lot of fun. We're also coming up on 200 shows. Grande's Graveyard 200 is not too far away. I liked The House and Livid and the nods to their horror movies. Liked the movie until the ending. Definitely understand why you liked it. Yeah, no, we're going to get into spoilers here. Let me just read Fred's comment. There's an underrated horror movie called Daddy's Girl. The movie is like a version of The Bad Seed. You have this 12-year-old girl who will literally kill anyone who comes between her and her daddy. Oh, well, that's always fun. That's always fun. But okay, spoilers again for Livid. If you want to see it, I highly recommend it. I think it's a great horror movie. You should really check it out if you haven't seen it. But spoiler alert, again, we're going to talk some spoilers. So they break in and basically all of these things start going haywire. They find these, dolls, but their heads are decapitated and replaced with like taxidermy animal heads, like bears and wolves and shit. And it's a very creepy visual. They find this ballerina that almost looks like she's stuffed. Her eyes are sewn closed and she's just kind of there. And she's almost on a wind-up key, almost like a music box that would spin around and around if you winded up the key. I thought that was really interesting. I was like, oh man, this is a creepy ass visual. There's a lot of creepy visuals, feels, and vibes in this film. And man, when shit starts hitting the fan in this movie, I fucking love it. You have one of the guys gets killed by a bunch of these ballerina figures, and they're spinning around, twirling, cutting his tendons up and shit like that. Really gory little scene there, a brutal death scene. You have the old lady on the ventilator. She wakes up at one point. She's some sort of vampire. And then, to me, the best sequences in this film is when we flash back to what the Academy used to be. And you see that La Femme is playing the one who was the ballerina teacher in this school. And she has this high standard for her daughter, who's also a vampire. And she's basically very hard on her and mean to the point of it's abusive. She tries to straighten her out one day and steps and breaks her back and spine. And then she ends up putting this like concoction in her back to kind of straighten her up so she'll be a better dancer. Creepy fucking visual there, man. Some of the creepiest shit you've ever seen. I mean, quite horrifying. And you see one of the dancers that was one of the kids there, a little redhead girl. She's the lady who was training the woman at the beginning. She's in on it. So then she shows up and she's feeding this lady, the succubus lady, the vampire lady, La Femme, these children. She's feeding them children blood throughout this. So that's how you get the idea that she's staying alive. And I agree with Tom. The ending does go a little bit batshit crazy where there's a little too much CGI and there's some body switching going on. The ending, I agree, is a little bit blah, like considering how good the tension is throughout this whole thing. But overall, I think this is a really creepy film. And I think it's a good follow-up to Inside. It's not as gory, it's not as good or memorable, but I think it's very underrated. And I think it has that same tension that Inside years before it had. I think they brought that to this dance too. And I think it's the best part about this movie. It's almost like People Under the Stairs meets a Suspiria. You know, it's that similar, like, you know, breaking into the crazy people's house for the treasure. And then, of course, it's a ballerina school, creepy kind of atmosphere, tone, tension that you can cut with a knife. I really like it. I think Livid's a great movie. And again, Sean Blue Digital, I mean, we're both waiting on well, I don't know if you've seen this one, but we're definitely looking forward to the fucking Region 1 Blu-ray of this, because there is no Region 1 Blu-ray of this. There is not a Region 1 release of this in the United States. I don't know why. I don't understand it. You would think on the success of Inside alone, on that movie alone, that they would fucking be like, yeah, let's release Livid and give it a Dimension Extreme release, or Lionsgate put out a bare bones DVD. I don't understand why there's not Blu-ray. I don't even think there's a Region 1 DVD. Livid is just not a movie that's very accessibly, you know, findable in America, and it's a damn shame. I had to have the movie downloaded for me. That's how fucking shitty this was. I didn't even have a DVD I could refer to. So it is what it is, but I highly recommend this movie. Damn Grande, you should see Promising Young Woman. I password read Rusty till he bought it, reviewed it, and it's great. Well, it seems like Rusty liked it. One of the 80s underrated horror movies is the movie Munchies. It was one of the movies that competed with Gremlins. Yeah, a ton of movies did. I mean, Critters was right around that time. Livid was a wonderful, yes, it does. That's right. Way before David Gordon Green did it. The kids, right before they drive to the house at the end, they're all in the car, and they see these three kids with the pumpkin, witch, and skeleton mask. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. They actually say it. I was like, wow, you got a Slaughtered Lamb, American Werewolf in London nod. You had a Halloween 3 nod. And the movie itself is just really good overall. I like it. I agree. It does go a little crazy towards the end. I think Tom makes another good point there. Is Inside 2007 available on Blu-ray? I've never seen a copy or an import. To my knowledge, no. I know for a fact it's not in the States. Because if it was available on Blu-ray in the States, I'd have it. Maybe overseas, maybe there's an import. You'd have to check Amazon. I don't know. But my guess is no, because for some reason, this movie doesn't have it either. Livid doesn't have a Region 1 release of any kind, which is a damn shame. I think it has an all-region Blu-ray, but that's it. And it's, I know it's bare bones. Brian, Kubrick lovers in the house. Welcome, my friend. Hope all is well with you tonight. That is Livid. We've got one more of each. However, we also have a tweener. And I guess before we get into our last overrated and underrated, we'll get to our tweener, because this is, I think, my most controversial opinion on this show, and something I wanted to introduce new to this show, because the first time around I just did 5 and 5 and we called it. This one I have one that I feel is a little bit of both, and I figured it'd be a fun topic. So we're going to get into that right now. Jugface, Livid, and The Love Witch added to the watch list. Okay, I'm happy about those first two. Love Witch may just put you to sleep. I don't know. That woman is hot. But that's about it. That's about it. That's about, well, the style is good too. But let's get into our tweener. I'm not going to hold up the papers anymore. And I had the tweener over there, so I don't even have the paper to hold up. This is a movie I find to be both overrated and underrated. And I'm going to get into that right now. This is from the year 1983. This is Angst. Angst, yes. A troubled young man gets released from prison and starts taking out his sadistic fantasies on an unsuspecting family living in a secluded house. Angst. This is a German film, and it's a film that I feel so mixed on. It's actually crazy, and it's weird because, okay, I know a lot of people that haven't heard about this movie, so I bet you there'll be a bunch of people in the chat say I've never heard of this. So in that way, it's underrated because it's highly praised by those that've seen it. But in a lot of ways, I think that it's not as good as the ratings that it gets. So I feel like it's kind of a little bit overrated as well. So I feel both. That's why I was like, this is a tweener here. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the chat. I see Sean Blue. Wow, Angst. Forgot about that one. You know, curious to hear your thoughts. If you guys have seen it, haven't heard of it, whatever. Angst is heavy. Yes, it is. I know it's a movie that's heavily inspired Gaspar Noé, who's, of course, Irreversible, Enter the Void. So many great, wonderful movies. I mean, I love Gaspar Noé. Climax. I like Angst Grande. Okay. Apparently, the flashback filming style of Barbarian was heavily influenced by Angst. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. Very interesting. But I agree with AJ. Okay, got another one here. I love Angst. Nothing majestic, but a really fun ride. Okay, so it's mostly positive. Kind of a dark film. Angst is a decent movie, but I don't own it and would like to see it again. I had a weird experience with this movie. It was so effective in what it was trying to do for me that I didn't enjoy the movie. And that's really rare that shit happens. Basically tells a story, like I said, of this German man. He gets out of prison, and the opening scene, he goes to this like diner where he's eating this Wiener Schnitzel. And they somehow made that disgusting. It's a really uncomfortable scene of him eating this Wiener Schnitzel, and these fucking two girls are kind of watching him and laughing at him and shit like that. And it almost made me sick for some reason when I was watching it. It made me so uncomfortable that I was like, whoa. Like, if I was eating anything, I would have got sick. I was really grossed out by the fucking scene. And I like Wiener Schnitzel. But fuck, I don't know why. I've never eaten it since because of this movie. It fucked me up. Basically, he leaves this place and he breaks into someone's house. There's a person in a wheelchair and he starts to murder people. And it's really just a very terrifying, uncomfortable film. It says around an hour and 27 minutes, the movie. And man, it's a hard watch for me. Like, it really is. But at the same time, it's really effective in what it's trying to do, because if it disturbed me that much, it did something right. So in that way, I think it's underrated that a lot of people don't talk about it. But in a lot of ways, also gets a 7.2 on IMDb. I don't know if I'd put it in that part either. I really don't. Like, here's a prime example of my argument here. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's a movie that's going for a similar tone. It's uncomfortable. It's makes your skin crawl, the hair on the back of your neck stand up, goosebumps all over your body, the whole cliches. I love that movie. I think Michael Rooker is great. Tom Towles is one of the scariest performances I've ever seen. Tom Towles in Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. Terrifying. I love Tom Towles in that movie. He actually scared me to my core. That's a movie I love and can watch it at any time. It has good rewatchability. It's scary. It's effective. It's uncomfortable. It makes you want to go back and watch it. It's really well directed. I think it's McNaughton. What's his name? John McNaughton directed that movie. I really like that. That director, he's good. This movie, though, it's so effective that I don't have any desire to ever rewatch it. Like, it made me uncomfortable to the point where I was like, oh my God, I feel like shit now. Like, I have to watch cartoons or something positive, because it's just a downer movie. So I don't know. This is a weird film. It's a classic. It's a tweener. I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually quite good, but it's a movie that I could never to this day bring myself to rewatch. It made me so uncomfortable that I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Weird. But I wanted to mention that one because I felt it fell under both categories. Kind of a dark film. I've never seen this film. Okay, see, we had somebody that didn't see it. Smash the like, brother. UFC Labyrinth Breakdown. Welcome, my friend. Hope all's well with you. Thank you for smashing the like. There's an underrated coming-of-age horror movie I remember seeing called Lady in White. Love Lady in White. That's super underrated, and I'm sorry I didn't think of it. Henry is scary, good, and featured from Dark Sky release are even better. Dude, yeah, I love Henry. Like, to me, Henry's a great movie. This movie, it's so fucking uncomfortable that I actually can't. It's just too heavy. And I think I understand why Gaspar Noé took from this, because a lot of his movies are like that. Like, you can't really have a Gaspar Noé marathon, man. You definitely can't. Like, it's one you can't do. I am that way. If I watch a movie, it ends really scares me in a certain, well, now you've gone too far and I won't like it as much. I'm kind of that way. I liked it, but I didn't at the same time. It was so good that I back out. Lady in White is one of my favorites. Oh, I agree. I actually really like Lady in White. That's one I should do on a show one of these days. I should definitely cover Lady in White. Lady in White versus the Woman in Black. We should do that. Lady in White, we get 10 out of 10. 10 over 10 for sure. It would win. But I don't know. Weird one. I just wanted to mention Angst. Just one of those where I don't know. It kind of fucked me up. But overrated or underrated? I forget where we were. I know we have one more of each. I think overrated, right? If we didn't. Oh, here it is. Okay. The last overrated one of the night, and then we'll end on an underrated one. It's from the year 1980, and this is a slasher movie that a lot of people always mention when they're talking about slashers of the classic era, of the bygone era. And I've heard it mentioned countless time in documentaries, countless time in movies. I don't understand why. I really don't understand why this movie has the reputation it does. I don't like this movie, and I never fucking have. It's actually a movie I quite dislike with an immense passion. I think the sequel is far better. It is from 1980. It stars former, or I guess current Oscar winner, Jamie Lee Curtis. This is Prom Night. Prom Night from 1980. Prom Night. Everything is all right. Turn this fucking music off. I hate Prom Night. Hate it. And now I know that there'll be a couple of people say, well, look at the IMDb rating. It's not that highly rated by critics or fans or whatever the fuck. I get that. But its reputation is why it's on here. And that's why I say it's overrated. There are so many better 80s slasher movies that get mentioned that aren't this movie. Like Madman is way better than fucking Prom Night, and it doesn't get a fucking mention in anything. Prom Night's mentioned in fucking Scream. Prom Night's mentioned a ton in Going to Pieces, the Rise and Fall of the slasher film. It's always mentioned in the vein of there's Jamie Lee Curtis in Road Games, Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis in Prom Night. It's always mentioned with like one of those movies that she did. Of course, Road Games, Stacey Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis is way better than this. Prom Night, though, I really don't like. I think it's horribly acted, number one. And you do have some decent, I mean, you have Jamie Lee Curtis, who in this particular movie, I don't think did that much for me. She's dancing around, shaking her yits at this prom with the most awful prom music ever. You have really, I mean, even for a slasher film, bad characters, nobody that sticks out, nobody's fucking memorable. I don't know. The killer in this one is it's like the fucking ski mask killer, lame. Leslie Nielsen is the principal of the school and the father of the killer. Spoiler alert, which there's nothing to fucking spoil if it's already rotten. He disappears in the last act. He's not even there. Leslie Nielsen just disappears. I never understood why. He's in it the first third of it, and then maybe one scene in the middle, and he's gone for the rest of the movie. He's not even there when his son is revealed as the killer. Like, what the fuck? Like, what a waste of Leslie Nielsen. I wonder if he just shot his stuff in 2 days and then just was like, all right. And then they were like, oh shit, we should have used him for one of the scenes at the end here. Oh, well, like, and they kind of blah. I mean, it's an ugly looking film too. This movie looks atrocious. I went to an all night horror movie marathon. It was on 35 millimeter back in August. And they showed 5 films. So Child's Play at 35 looked awesome. They showed Friday the 13th Part 6. They showed fucking Nightmare on Elm Street, which was the best one at 35. Slumber Party Massacre, awesome at 35. This movie looked like shit on 35. Awful. I mean, this has never been a good looking film either. It's just, I hate this movie. There's a lot of red herrings, a lot of bullshit side plots where, there's the boy who's never fucked a girl and the girl who's never fucked a boy. And they meet together in a van and they talk about how big of fucking waste their lives have been. They fuck and then they get killed by a killer 2 seconds later. Do you care? No, I don't. I wasted 30 minutes of my life watching this fat fuck trying to convince this bitch to suck his dick and they never fucked nobody. And I'm sitting there fucking wanting to eat a bagel at this all-nighter because that was the last movie they showed at this all-nighter, and we get free breakfast if you survive all 5 movies. I thought about walking out of Prom Night about 3 or 4 times. It's like, this is a bunch of fucking shit. I always hated Prom Night. And the funniest shit ever to me was we're waiting online to get the free breakfast, me and Billy Henry, and fucking we're on the line, and this nice couple in front of us, they must have known the guy that ran the show, and he went up to them. He went, "Did you like the movies?" And they were nice. They weren't horror fans, you could tell, because everyone there had like a death metal or a horror t-shirt on. They were like, just in plaid and shit. And he goes, "Did you like the movies?" They went, "We liked all of them except the last one." And then the guy, he went, "It's the worst movie I've ever seen." And I burst out laughing. I'm like, Prom Night does fucking suck. And it was so funny. I was like, yo, this is these fucking people have never seen probably any of these movies. I love the first 4. That last movie, a bunch of bullshit. I just thought that was great. I don't know. I never, ever, ever liked Prom Night. I don't understand why it always gets mentioned. My guess is it's just because of Jamie Lee Curtis and because of Jamie Lee Curtis's reputation. That's maybe why it always gets the mention. But overall, I don't know. Lame. Just lame, in my opinion. Do you consider the movie Sleepwalkers to be underrated or overrated? Wow. That's a good fucking question. I don't know. I mean, it's a movie that people still talk about, but it's not really in a positive light generally. Like let's see, what does fucking Sleepwalkers get on IMDb? It's not a positively reviewed movie. Like, it's generally made fun of, Sleepwalkers. So let's see. It's a 5.3 on IMDb. Yeah, it's probably middle of the road. I don't know. I would say it's definitely known, but it's not known for a good reason. It's almost like Troll 2. It's like, it's known for being one of the best bad movies. So I don't know if that's either. Sleepwalkers are going to be underrated, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing a remake. Okay. Prom Night equals boring. Yes, it is fucking boring. I know you're not asking me, but I don't find Sleepwalkers underrated or overrated. I find it awful. I kind of agree with that. I love Henry of Portrait of a Serial Killer too. Love it. Intruder is better than Prom Night, completely, not even close. Prom Night is like a I Know What You Did Last Summer, which that's not a great movie either. You were there in 1980 and have it scare the shit out of you as a 5-year-old kid. Did you see that in the theater? Did you see Prom Night in the theater? Wow, I feel bad, man. I'm seeing Monsters Inc. in the theater. This motherfucker's seeing fucking Prom Night. Boo! Oh, I'm getting over. Well, Rusty, there's one left in the cup, and I think it's one of your all-time favorite movies. So I'm hoping you stick around. It has a sweet kiss in your slasher heart. Fair enough. Grande, I see you have a cup, and it is a trash can in front of you. Yes. So the format of this show. Oh, I'm sorry. Format of this show is overrated versus underrated. The good underrated movies come out of the Grande's Graveyard Mug, and the piece of shit shows come out of the trash can, which we're all empty. No more trash in the can now. But I mean, it is neither here nor there. Never seen Prom Night, but I know it's got the GOAT, Leslie Nielsen. Oh, we love Leslie. Yeah, Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, way better. Original Prom Night is forgettable. And even that said, it's better than the fucking remake, which is one of the worst slasher movies I've ever seen. Yeah, Sean, a Sleepwalkers remake couldn't hurt. Well, yeah, I don't think they could do that much worse, but granted, they could get Andy Muschietti to direct it. Grande, have you thought of covering films like Chopping Mall and Death Spa, films that are so bad maybe they're good? I could do that. We've never talked Troll 2 on here. Death Spa is a lot of fun, and I love Ken Foree's in it. I could totally do a like so bad they're good show. Death Spa is stupid fun. Love Death Spa. I love that Death Spa is exactly what you think it would be. That's what I love about that movie. More popular JLC, the more I hate the movies she starred in. I want to gag every time I see her on screen. Tomatoes are for Jamie Lee, not you, Grande. Fair enough. Wow. Okay. Hey, it's rough being a fat kid trying to get his dick sucked, you son of a bitch. Well, I understand that completely. No worries. I don't know. That movie is brutal. Do I like Terror Train? I never liked Terror Train. Terror Train's bad too. Especially the ending of Terror Train is a mess. Let's see. Prom Night sucks. Never felt the need to rewatch it once it was enough. Yeah, I agree. One of my favorite underrated Jamie Lee Curtis horror movies I love is Terror Train. Okay, so you love Terror Train. I feel that way about Nope, yet everyone thinks I'm nuts. To each their own, but it's still garbage. Oh my God, your rant on that was funny. That was the most mad I ever saw you. Do you consider Hunger, the Hunger 1983, to be underrated or overrated? I've never seen that. I've seen a movie called Hunger where it was like there's these 5 people and they got thrown into like a fucking pit, and they had to see how many days they could survive and to pass the time. Some of them started fucking and shit. And in the end, the lady plays dead and the guy comes down there, she kills him and escapes. I've seen that movie. There's a movie, I think it's called The Hunger, but that was from the late knots, I think. 2008, 2009-ish. Terror Train has its moments, but as a whole, very mediocre. Completely agree. Sleepwalkers is ass. Holy shit, we got a lot of comments. Grande, have you ever seen Psycho Goreman? Yes, and I love Psycho Goreman. We ain't blocking AJ ever. The Hunger is awesome. David Bowie can't do anything wrong. I've got to see that. I've never even heard of the David Bowie one. Sleepwalkers obviously ain't the best, but it's still a worthy King adaptation. I'm still waiting for you to rewatch Nope and declare it a masterpiece, Rusty. Oh my gosh, if only. Prom Night is Canadian, Mernsey. Oh yeah, no, but we got to tell Mateo it's Canadian too. Hell with Crown, Elsa the Queen of Hades before that happens. I'm supposed to be asleep, but this has been awesome. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Gotta love the Canucksploitation films. Oh yeah, Canada, eh? Definitely, Terry. Definitely. Hey, we can't win them all. Scanner Crop 1 and 2. Canucksploitation at its finest. Very nice. Hey, Canucksploitation, hobo with a shotgun. All right. And hey, if you want, since we're so close to 600 subs, feel free to share the stream out. Maybe we get closer. Maybe we count down to 600 subs sometime in the next month or so. That'd be a lot of fun. The Hunger 1983 is the only horror film of the late Tony Scott directed, and it had David Bowie, Susan Sarandon, truly a masterpiece in my opinion. I'll have to check it out. I've never heard of it or seen it, so I will definitely. One underrated that I got recommended, so it's fun how these things here. But that leaves one underrated movie in the Grande's Graveyard Mug. And it's not in the mug. So well, it's a good thing I remember what it is because it's not in there. I don't know. It must have fell out. It must have fallen somewhere. Did I fucking drop it? I don't know. But okay, we're getting to the last film of the evening here. Sorry, it's been a long one, but it's been fun. This is a movie that I know for a fact Red Rusty is a huge fan of. And in my opinion, one of the great television horror movies of all time. This is from the year 1974. This This is Bad Ronald. Yes, Bad Ronald. A perverted teenage boy who lives in the walls of a house finds the house is sold to a family after his mother dies from a surgery. Then he falls for one of the new residents. Yes, 1974's Bad Ronald, directed by Buzz Kulik, who is, of course, an all-time Twilight Zone director. He directed episodes like A Game of Pool and On Thursday We Leave for Home. If Anthony Fever Dreamland Theater watches the replay, I'm sure he'll mark out. He's a Buzz Kulik fan. I know that when we covered season 4's with Anthony Fever Dreamland Theater. And there's a lot of Twilight Zone actors in this, a lot of memorable faces in this. But to me, this is one of the most underrated TV horror movies of all time. And I think it's just absolutely fantastic little flick. I love Bad Ronald. It's one I really wanted to get into here tonight on the show. Basically, Bad Ronald tells the story of Scott Jacoby's character. And if anybody who watched The Golden Girls, which I always did with my grandmother, that was like a big thing me and my grandmother used to do back when she was alive. May she rest in peace. There was Dorothy's son, who was a recurring character on the show, and it was played by this actor, Scott Jacoby. So when I finally saw this movie, I was like, holy shit, Scott Jacoby. Like, that's the guy that's Dorothy's son. I was kind of mind-blown when I saw that it's the same actor. And he's this weird kid in the neighborhood. Now, this description says he's perverted. He's not really perverted. Not really. I know there's a novel by the same name, Bad Ronald, which he's much more perverted, and it's a much more explicit film. It's much more violent and brutal and things like that, as opposed to this TV movie where you can only be so brutal, violent, explicit, etc. He's this weird kid he's a mama's boy. The father's left home. The mother mentions that she didn't want his alimony as long as he never visited Ronald. She wanted Ronald all to herself. And he has a crush on this girl in school. And basically one day he goes to her house to try to hang out with her, see what's up. And all the kids in the pool kind of splash him with water and call him a loser. And he says, hey, could we go do something? Could we go out today? Could we do something? And she says, no, I'm never going out with you. You're a fucking weirdo. Get out of my fucking backyard. And so Ronald is crushed. He's walking home from her house, and he accidentally walks into this little girl on a bicycle. And I'm really sorry. He goes to help her up, and she's a nasty bitch to him too. And you're weird, Ronald. You and your weird mother. And it's instant, like a switch turns on in Ronald's head. He turns around. Take that back. Why, Ronald? You're weird, Ronald. She's egging him on, and basically he grabs her by the face, picks her up, and just in a fit of rage throws her down, and she smacks her head on like a cinder block, and her fucking head gets caved in, all this blood, and he panics, buries the body in a shallow grave, and runs home. Mom, I killed someone. It was an accident. I buried the body. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And the mother doesn't know what to do, because she says, man, we could have fucking covered this up. And if you just said it was an accident, we could have fought this. Now that you buried the bottle in a shallow grave, people are going to think something's up. And they come up with this great idea that they're going to make a compartment in the house and put a wall over the bathroom where he's going to hide in the walls of the house until the whole thing blows over. It'll all blow over. Don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you, Ronald. I promise we'll take care of you. And she's hoarding all this food for him, bringing him, canned goods and stuff like that, hiding the kid in the walls. The police come looking for him. I don't know where he went. He must have ran from home, all of this stuff. And basically what happens is one day the mother goes for this complicated gallbladder surgery, and she dies in the surgery. And unbeknownst to everyone, they think the house is now abandoned, and a new family comes in, moves in, and they're unaware that Bad Ronald is living in the walls of this house, and he's watching them through peepholes and stealing their food at night and kind of screwing around in there with paintings and things like that. And I think it's one of the best, just really good fucking horror movies out there, because while it doesn't have the exploitative means and it doesn't have a hard R rating, right? This is a movie that was definitely limited by its budget and the fact that it was a TV production. Because if this was a movie where it was like they could go full R rating, 1970s, they could push the envelope, and just like the novel did, because the novel was very much more explicit, hardcore, and all that shit. If they were able to go there with it, who knows? Sky could have been the limit. But even with that said, I think they still nail this movie as the way it is. And I like the Ronald character because it's so conflicting. I loved, Rusty he did like an hour-long review of this movie. If you guys aren't subscribed to Rusty, subscribe to Rusty. He's a great guy. I loved his review of this movie, and he put it best. He said, some people think Ronald is a weirdo. Some people do think Ronald is bad, but he feels that he was just really scared and confused and tormented, and he did feel a little sympathy for Ronald. And I'm kind of the same way. I like, is there any condoning of what he did, killing a little child? No. But you do feel bad because he was a good guy that meant well. And he had a crush on this one girl, and all hell breaks loose after he commits this crime. And I love this movie. I think it's distinctly 1970s. I love all the weird paintings on the walls and the scenes where he confronts one of the daughters in the house and, I'm the king and you're my queen and I'm going to take you off to a wonderful mythical land. Just creepy. Scott Jacoby's creepy in the film, and there's some fun, intense chase sequences. I don't know. I always really like this movie. I think it's a great idea. And it's a movie that, as much as I'm usually against remakes, it would be interesting to see a more explicit remake of this. Like if it was Bad Ronald, but with a body count, maybe picking these people off, and instead of peepholing watching them eating dinner, maybe peepholing watching them have sex and things like that. Like him whacking off and shit like that, because he's supposed to be perverted. He's not very perverted in this movie, even despite what the synopsis says. I love Bad Ronald. Always thought it was a really great movie, and a movie that I always kind of find myself kind of drawn back to. There's a lot of great TV movies in the 1970s, whether it be Trilogy of Terror, whether it be Let's Scare Jessica to Death, whether it be Satan's School for Girls, whether it be oh my God, what was the Don't Be Afraid of the Dark with the little creatures in the fucking radiator. I love that movie too. A lot of great ones, but man, Bad Ronald is one of the best. I love Bad Ronald. Always have, always will. I think it's a damn good movie. And it's one that I found super underrated. It's one that I definitely think people should kind of seek out. I think there's a Blu-ray out from Warner Brothers Archives, I want to say. I watched, my friend got it for me on Plex, and it's a beautiful HD transfer. The best I ever saw Bad Ronald look. So I was like very pleased with the transfer of this thing when I watched it on there. So let's see. I'd love to see a Cronenberg topic. I did one a really long time ago. I did Rabid, Shivers, The Brood, and Videodrome. I did those 4 in one episode, and that was a fun episode. But I could always see, that's the thing. Like some of these are so old. Like I did Elm Street forever ago. There's so many that I did so old and long ago that I wouldn't mind redoing, like doing a remake of some of these. Drum roll, but fucking where's Chevy Chase at? Bad Ronald, super underrated. Completely agree. Ooh, Bad Ronald, complete masterpiece. That's awesome. Blu-ray release has graced my monitor 20 times since I bought it. You win the crown, and I dub the horror masterworthy. Thank you, my friend Red Rusty, the Metal Maestro of 66. I think if Bad Ronald had better cover art, then it would probably draw more people. That's true. That maybe, I don't know. I wonder. I really wonder. That would be very interesting. Bad Ronald is great. Has Dabney Coleman in it. 9 to 5 and War Games. Movie could be 25, 30 minutes longer. That's true. It is. It's really short. It's one of those where I wish it was way longer. It's 74 minutes. He's right. That's really short. I mean, you could have easily got another 15, 20 minutes out of this. I agree with Mateo. I think you could, if it was longer and maybe a little bit more explicit. Yeah. But it's a shame that's the one negative of a TV movie. Scott Jacoby, Bad Ronald, Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane is a masterpiece, double grand slam. That's another great. Dark Knight of Scarecrow. I could do a show just on 70s TV horror movies because that's like the best era for horror movies in general and TV horrors especially. Oh, sorry, Grande, I didn't know. Don't be sorry. No worries at all, man. I fucking love Cronenberg, so I would be down for it. Bad Ronald looks like Howard Stern on the cover. Yeah, he does. It's so true. I had a bootleg DVD of this movie for the longest time. I eventually sold it. This is I could do a quick screen share because we're going to wrap the show up in just a minute here. We could do a quick screen share of Bad Ronald because this was the Warner Archives Blu-ray cover, which that's a good cover in my opinion. I think that's cool. Like the half and half, like the half good side. And then there's the bad side, the Bad Ronald side. I don't know. I always was a really big fan of Bad Ronald. I was like, from the first time I saw it, I was like, damn, I'm into this. Like, what a unique concept. Like, we're going to cover up this crime from hide you in the walls. That's a fucking mother right there. But it is what it is. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Underrated versus Overrated Horror. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs tonight on the show. Even a Scooby-Dooby douchebag and Gilbert Gottfried rant on the Stephen King shit chapter 1. There was some underrated gems like Livid and Bad Ronald and fucking Jug Face, Mystics and Bally, Afterlife, some really good ones to recommend. Some overrated turds like The Love Witch and X and Prom Night, A Quiet Place, and of course, Shit Chapter 1. Those are the recap here. Yeah, that's the one I paid for out the wazoo. It's a transfer you wouldn't believe until you see it. Yeah, no, I saw the transfer, like an HD transfer of it, and I couldn't believe it. So I got to get that Warner Archives Blu. I wish they do a Blu-ray with features. Like I think Scott Jacoby would talk about it. I would love to hear what Scott Jacoby has to say about it now. I think he's like a director now, Scott Jacoby. Like he made a documentary on punk music, I think, in the early 2000s. He's still in the business in some shape or form. Sorry, I was choked. Are you still going to do Cursed Object Show? Yes, I've been planning on that. This next week's show is going to be a guest. Curly Girl's coming on. I'm starting a new job Monday, so my anxiety, stress is kind of there. So I'm definitely, with show concepts, I have a lot in the bag, but as far as scheduling goes, I'm actually going to take it week by week, which I never do. I usually have this planned in advance. That's one that's definitely on the back burner. I'm going to do the Cursed Object Show. I was debating doing that or just an Amityville show, like doing Amityville 1 through the remake, because I'm not going to do any of the ones after the remake, because those aren't Amityville movies. Those are just, it's become a joke now how many Amityville movies. I think there's 40 Amityville movies, but only like 8 or 9 I'd consider really the real deal. I want to do either an Amityville show or a Cursed Object Show. Cursed Object Show would be fun. We could do Oculus. We could do one of the bad Amityville sequels, like the one with the lamp. We could do 1408 with the Cursed Room. I had a bunch of movies written down for the Cursed Object Show. So that's one that's definitely could be in the near future. I've been meaning on doing that. So it's just honestly, however my schedule goes the next couple weeks or so. Next week, I got Curly Girl, the movie. She's going to guest star on the show. So I'm super excited about that. We'll be talking about the Ring franchise. So I'm super excited to have her on. But as far as scheduling goes, I promise I'll keep you guys all posted as soon as I know, you'll know. Do you want a Scooby snack? Get the fuck out of here. Epic. For real, though. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Good luck with the new job. Thank you, man. I'm excited. I definitely, it was a long time coming because I left my old job just about a month ago. I just wasn't happy there anymore, and I felt it was time for a change. And I don't know. I'm bad with change. I get nervous with change, so I'm just hoping everything goes smooth. And once I get back into that routine and that rhythm, I think I'll be back and better than ever. So the show is basically, I want to take it a week at a time instead of getting ahead of myself, because I have enough on my plate as it is with this new stuff. So thank you, though. I appreciate that, Tom. Brilliant stream, Grande. Terry, you stayed the whole time, and I know it's probably like 5 a.m. there, man. Get some rest. Thank you so much. And everybody, if you catch Psychobabble this weekend, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Awesome episode, Grande. Thank you, Mernsy. Appreciate your support as always, my friend. Looking forward to you and Curly going head to head. Can't wait to work with Curly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hell yeah. Red Rusty, nice work on this one. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Russ. And like I said, if you guys want to hear more about Bad Ronald, Rusty did a 56-minute plus review of it, and it's awesome. Another solid stream. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Sean, thank you so much for the support. Amityville would be an awesome. I fell down a rabbit hole trying to watch all the different movies. I didn't know they went down public domain. Yeah, no, for real. Amityville is definitely a possibility because I live so close to the damn house. So we'll get there for sure. But everyone, thank you so much for this edition of Overrated versus Underrated. If you catch the replay, let me know which ones that you find overrated, underrated. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you find any more tweeners like I find angst? If you're catching the replay, let me know what ones you find overrated or underrated. Pleasure to have you all in the house tonight. We had a bunch of people. Appreciate your love and support as always. A couple more comments and we're ending the show here. Best wishes on the new show, new job. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Love the Amityville I hear. Thank you. No, we're definitely gonna roll with that, I think. Goodbye from the graveyard. Yeah, I can't remember your catchphrase. Well, I'll give you the catchphrase right now, Brian. All right. Too sweet, peace, and we'll catch you next time only on the graveyard. Good night, everybody. Have a safe, happy, wonderful weekend.